Brave fencer Musashi.
Mike Live.
What's up? I'm ready to start, so...
Well, keep talking for a second so I can...
I'm gonna keep talking for a minute. For you to balance the microphone and all that stuff. What about you, Dylan? You got anything to say?
No.
Okay. I figured you didn't. Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Like, the level's not sex. So this is Brave Fencer Musashi. It's a action RPG made by Squaresoft in 1998. Most people remember it because it had the first Final Fantasy VIII demo that was ever made available to the public, issued as a second disc inside of it. So people picked it up literally just to get that. It's a story about this kid who is summoned to the all-you-can-eat kingdom by Princess Filet to save the town folk. And it's actually based upon a Japanese novel, Musashi, that talks about Miyamoto Musashi, who is a samurai, and he's like the most legendary samurai, and he actually uses 2 swords. So there's a lot of similarities between the novel, which is 7 books, all talking about different elements and things, and that's actually the crest that you collect in the game. But it's pretty straightforward. This beginning part is basically just an intro, but the basically biggest reset point in the game is about 10 minutes in, and there's a glitch that we do, and there's also a card game that we play to get money that is 100% RNG. So I'll have to save before both of those, and those are really like the biggest time losses if I don't get them right away. But right now we're climbing this spiral tower to get the Lumina sword, which is like the legendary sword of luminescence, which essentially is a sword that a previous iteration of Musashi used years ago to defeat the Dark Wizard. So you'll see me jumping up slopes a lot throughout the entirety of the run. It's just because you move slightly faster when jumping up a slope as opposed to running. We also use the DualShock analog controllers for this game, even though it's on PS1, because for whatever reason, when you use the analog stick, Musashi gets run speed immediately, and if you use the D-pad, you lose about half a second every time you go to move because he has to gradually increase his speed. There's a little bit of text mashing throughout the run. It's nothing too major. There's a little bit of a technique to it. It's not just straight matching. It's just essentially text box comes up. It's similar to Final Fantasy IV's. It's frame based, and if you can press circle on the first frame, then it'll make the entire text box appear, and then the next available frame will actually make the text box go away. So that part right there, if you jump fast enough, like I'm jumping up the slope, and you saw Musashi had to turn and step back a little bit. If you jump and don't touch the ground for longer than 4 frames, then you don't actually trigger that cutscene. But no matter how far you get up the slope, he'll turn and walk back at that super slow speed. So you have to kind of know where the event trigger is at. So right here we're grabbing Lumina once we get on top of the tower, and the normal way to do it is that there's a switch that removes the barrier around the sword, and you basically take one of the red thirst quencher soldiers and you throw them across so they walk back over the switch. But hopefully, alright, we got a good spawn. We can walk around the switch, cause that guy to hit us, and just walk into it, and that saves about 8 seconds. This is basically the demo of the game that was on one of the PlayStation demo discs that they released. I think it was on Volume 2. And it's like a very Indiana Jones style chase sequence. For whatever reason, when you play on an SPCH 9000, PlayStation, it glitches the music once I get down to the flat part here, so it's gonna sound kind of weird. It's the only spot in the game that does it. I don't really know why. And the hitboxes in this game and the platforms are really, really well made. And they're kind of akin to Mario 64, where sometimes you'll just jump on a platform and without understanding the hitbox of it, you'll just fall right through it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's designed so that you wiggle back and forth, but it's really not too big of a deal. And we're coming up to the first boss right now. This is technically Chapter 1. The game is broken up into 6 chapters. And this first boss, it's really just based upon this story. So throughout, there's this reoccurring theme with Musashi trying to... There's Princess Filet, and this is Rutrick. He works with Colonel Capricola, and they're the one who's messing with All-You-Can-Eat Palace. And the village is called Grillin' Village. In the Japanese version of the game, all of the townfolk and everybody was based on the names of alcohol, and so when they brought it over to the US, they just made it food. This guy is the Halo Master. This fight is actually really stupid, and you can lose a shit ton of time on it, mainly because you're bad, so I'm probably going to do that. By charging Lumina with R1, you're going to see that a lot. You basically, well, you charge your swords with R1. You can either throw the fusion sword, which is a small blue one, and assimilate enemy abilities, or you can do this spin attack. So you have like 6 pixels right there that you can stand on that are, oh shit, a safe zone that you won't get hit. So I only knocked his right leg off right there. Ideally, it would take 2 swings and you would take both his legs out and be able to hit him 4 times. This part of the battle is scripted, because technically you're not supposed to hit him twice with your charged Lumina. So when he comes back down, I actually won't deal any damage here. Doesn't do anything. And then he throws once, and then he'll break this building, and it doesn't do any damage, even though he smashes you with it. And there's a little bit of RNG at this portion. He's going to throw this ball around a couple more times, but once we actually hit him, there's crits that are in this game, and so you do 50 to 54 damage without a crit, but you can do up to 79 with one. And so you can just one-cycle him here, but it's all luck-based, basically. Alright, I didn't get it. Sweet, and I missed. If you're quick enough there, I was trying to swing and hit him, and you can hit him twice and then swing afterwards. Good job, dude. Good fight. I fucked up already? Wow. So he should have been dead a long time ago. He never should break that building, ever, dude. Hello? Dude, what are you doing? He's supposed to follow your position, and he was not. What the fuck? Anyway, so yeah, this is Steam Night. He's awesome. Good time for this is like sub 7:45. Dude, what are you doing? And so, yeah, that was only like 45 seconds behind, whatever. You can't skip this cutscene, but it gives you a look at the voice acting in the game, which is top-notch for sure. There's a couple lines in here that I'm probably going to let play out because they're hilarious. Yeah, I kind of need it to be loud for this next part, just so because I have an audio cue. When you play through the game casually, all the people in the town are stuck in what are called Bincho fields, and we'll save them out of a few. They're like these green diamonds, and you hit them with a luminous sword, and it rescues the people. And basically there's 36 of them, I think, or 37.
Oh,
This guy.
Musashi, been waiting for you.
Is this whole game voice acted?
Yeah, like all of it. So every time I skip, there's very few cutscenes that aren't voice acted. So a majority of these that I'm skipping, you cut out the audio as well. We don't visit the kingdom all that much. There's a couple times that we're forced to in order to progress the story. But we are skipping like a really big sequence right at the beginning of the run. There's one of the big route changes that was made in 2013. There was a tasser from Japan named Holy Angel that came out with some videos that he gave to Short Circuit, who has the SDA run for this game right now. And they were thought to not be RTA viable at first, and they save a shit ton of time, but now they're all RTA viable and they're all in the run. So with a little bit of work, I did a lot of the new routing, and then my friend Lance is, there we go. He's not actually a speedrunner, but you guys probably know him if you're from my chat as Larry. But he went through the game and routed out everything for what we needed to do after doing this initial trick we call the L jump, and there's a couple sequence breaks later on. In the bottom right of the screen, you'll see it says day 1. It's Monday, and it's about to be 6 o'clock p.m. This game is heavily involved with managing your time and understanding when certain events happen. So to get into Twin Peak, it's this river, there's this guy, Macho, who we're going to play cards with in a minute, who blocks it until 1800. So I went to the inn to sleep, and now I'm assimilating this ability called Hop from that flower. And I'm going to hold X for the entirety of this run. And by holding X and canceling the jump, it's a 2-frame window. I can store a jump that's 36 pixels higher than a double jump, which we don't have yet. And it allows us to do a sequence break that we normally couldn't reach. And this was discovered by Holy Angel a couple years ago, and I think the first person to do it RTA was either me or Short Circuit, but I'm not sure. But we have to wait till it's a little bit later to have Macho here. Hold on, I gotta listen. And if I miss, I just have to go back and try again. Alright, I got it. Fuck my... Oh, dude. Now I gotta go back. So, you have to jump off the very corner of that building and then go diagonally down right. It's pretty tight to make that jump. That's stupid, dude. So you have basically 4 chances to do that before it becomes daytime and Macho will block it again.
So does time have any impact outside of just blocking stuff in the run, or is it pretty much?
Time impacts a lot of things in the run. A lot of towards the end of the run is all based upon time, because to open the final dungeon it has to be sky day and it has to be raining. So there's like a 6-hour time period on sky day, and if you don't time out the rest of the run properly, then you'll have to sleep for an entire week, which takes like 3 minutes. That sucks, dude. I was excited that I got it. But yeah, so that initial, when I canceled the hop, that's a designed game mechanic just so when you're in this ability hop, you can press circle and get out of it. And there's the sound effect of basically the pogo, and you have the frame before the sound effect and the frame during the sound effect to cancel the hop, and it'll store the height of the jump. And if you do it the 2 frames after that, you'll still get the height of the jump, but it happens immediately. So we use that later on to do a sequence break as well. I hope I can get it again. Alright, I got it. Get a little safe here. Alright. So basically, that lets us get this item that's a bracelet. And normally you have to go and there's a treasure keeper that's locked up outside of town named John. And you have to go and talk to him and get him some water and get him a key. And then his dog Lino takes you into the mysterious woods and leads you on this ridiculous chase. I need to save before I do this. And it used to take a long time. So even with that mistake, that saved about 13 minutes over the current SDA run. So now this is another big routing change that I made that really makes the run bullshit. Macho is the guy who normally blocks the Twin Peak Mountain that I went to where that chest was at. And so when he's not standing guard by the river, he's at the local tavern getting his drink on. But he also likes to play cards. So for 100 Dran, he will play a high-low game with you where you can just guess what card he has. So he says a 10, so I'm going to guess low, and a 5, 8, low, and then I lost. So I have to get 6,400 Dran here. Fuck. And it's completely random. And, God. He's such a dick, dude. Alright. Alright. Fucker. Dude. And it's from 1 to 13, so like if you get a 5, you have to guess high. So I have a couple more chances here. Okay, I need... Fuck. Alright, we're good. So he calls you a scaredy cat, but now I have 6,600 Dran, and you can play that game as much as you want, unless you get 10,000 Dran, and then he won't let you play anymore. So if you're playing the game casually, you can just do that and get 6,400 Dran, and then you're good. So by sleeping, we advance the days. All the shops in the town won't be open until, like, the Hilda's store opens at 9 o'clock, and then the appraiser opens at 11 o'clock, but he's closed on Monday. And so we run here, it's 10:45, it just turned 11, which is perfect. And I need to get a couple items here. And the reason that we need to have Macho is because we need this item called the S-Revive. And basically what that is when you die and your HP gets to 0, you get revived and you get full health. And it's not really so much for the health refill, but later on when you get the double jump, I'll explain it more, but there's a couple things that we can do that are not the way they're designed using that damage. Oh my god, dude. So in the menus, you can hit triangle and it just completely exits out of them. And then mashing circle through these sections. You just have to understand when and where you have to answer questions. So she's going to talk about 4s, and then I have to say, okay, I'll do it. So this next section coming up, a lot of people probably remember if they played the game casually. It's called Steamwood, and you can see the steam rolling into Grillin' Village right now. So basically, on top of the Thirst Quencher Empire capturing people from the palace and going around, there's this group of hooligans called Leader Force that also are bad guys. And as of right now, nobody knows what's happening in town, but there's all these things going on. Steamwood, basically when we go into the forest here, you'll see there's all these pipes running through town. I like to envision them just using steam as like a heating source and things like that in Grillin' Village. So that guy 4s is the operator of Steamwood. And since my job as an operator, I totally relate with him just pawning it off on somebody else. But this is like a really frustrating part, and it can be a really big pain in the ass. If there's a specific timer you can see up top, So it's until Steamwood explodes, and basically if that timer runs out, you just have to start over. But, yeah, this part sucks, man. This is what the L-Brace does for us. That was the chest I jumped to grab. The legendary items that Musashi has, you can get 6 of them, but they all have to be appraised by that guy. And they start out as like regular items. So I pulled out of a chest, I got a bracelet, and it turns out it's the L-Brace, or the legendary brace. It allows you to use the fusion sword and the luminous sword to climb up the walls. And they're pretty easy. The texture is completely different and unique to anything else, so you can see what it is. So this part is just like a typical, you have to wait for this pressure, and then you press OK, and he turns the valve and relieves the pressure. They designed it so that it gets pretty frantic and it gets faster towards the end, and there's a programmed in 5-frame delay, so whenever you press X, it doesn't actually stop until 5 frames later. But you have to be pretty quick here, because if you mess up too much, you'll miss the elevator cycle, and then you have to wait for that elevator I just rode, and it loses quite a bit of time, because the elevator is on a global timer, and it just goes all the way up and all the way back down, and barely hesitates when it's on the floors. I'm going to be jumping around corners like that. There's a couple areas that are designed to have you completely blocked off, but it's a little bit quicker if you can cut the corners like that. And you'll see when I grab this third valve, there's pipes that come down, and you're supposed to jump on those and then jump across, but you can just cut the corner. And those pipes are stupid. I'm actually going to jump on one when I go to the 4th valve, and you see the elevator off to the right going down. If you don't do that section quickly, then you miss this cycle, and it costs you the time of having to wait for the elevator to go all the way back up. Okay, that part's pretty scary, because if you fall back down, you have to wait for the elevator, and then you catch it, and then you come back up here, and if you miss any of the valves, you actually have to start all the way back at the beginning, and the sequence starts over, and it's just a huge waste of time. Basically, from this point on, I can't really lose any time at this part, because I have to wait for the full elevator cycle, so you can kind of take it easy. Because even I took this game into an emulator and slowed it down and did like perfect jumps, and you still miss the elevator cycle by a couple of frames. There's actually a second iteration of Steamwood that is literally the exact same thing. Nice. The only difference is that the handles have been taken off by Leader Force, and so you have to find them, and they're just staged around the level. But we're gonna skip that later on, because Steamwood sucks. So here's the elevator, and it's on its downward cycle. So realistically, the only time you can lose is by missing on valve 7 and 8. If you miss any of the valves, as far as like relieving the pressure, then that's a time loss. But the other ones don't really count, because you have to wait for the elevator cycle anyway. And these are substantially faster. Ideally, you'd hit them right at the very bottom, but like number 8, you'll see it's really fast, and I had a hard time hitting it at the very bottom when I had it at 30% speed. Alright. Oh, there we go. Alright. So that was a pretty decent Steamwood. I just had one miss. But that part's super stressful, man, because you get like, I've had runs where I do L jump first try, and I get Macho card RNG first try, and then I fall off a platform in Steamwood and the run's over. It's pretty stupid. This is the Crack Attack building top. So now you're supposed to go do some things and talk to the mayor and do all this other shit, but the game doesn't really look at talking to NPCs as any kind of trigger or any kind of a like sequence trigger, so we get to bypass a lot of that stuff just by knowing where to go. Basically everything in Twin Peak Mountain is already loaded when the game starts, so that's why we can grab that chest and everything. So there's all the Bincho fields in the world are already placed, and so we can just go and get the ones we need to proceed to the end of the chapter, and the game doesn't know any different. And the timing is important, like I said, but like right now it's 2015 IRL, and so Macho isn't blocking the door. He blocks the door for the entirety of Chapter 1. There is a guy you can rescue from a Bincho field. God damn it, my shot. These guys, I have to assimilate this ability here, because that guy that's blocking the path on the other side of this lily pad, you can't get by him. So that's like similar to Mystic Quest, where if you mash too much through a text box, circle is your ability, and so you'll actually use your ability, and it costs you a little bit of time. But that big puffed up white dude in the back, we got to take care of him with this shrink, so that's the whole reason we assimilate that. If you don't kill this guy, he'll stay there for the entire game. And these ghosts, man, that do that shrink can be such trolls. Like, they aren't supposed to spawn over here, but they'll spawn right there and in midair as you're jumping to those lily pads and just make you fall in the water. The water doesn't really do anything except for do damage, and then it resets you back to your XY coordinate that you fell from. There's a trick a little bit later in the run that will try to trick the game with that, but it's completely random. I had Alec Torn, a Tasser on Tass videos. Him and I did a lot of work. He did most of it, like 98% of it. But did a lot of work just trying to figure out the way some tricks and things worked in this game. And that one's just completely random. You'll see poles and stuff like that we're supposed to climb, but instead of going up, we can just jump. You just press X to jump and he just goes right up in. It's way faster than climbing. So normally this point in the run takes a lot longer to get to. It used to be a lot longer. But here's Rutrick. He was the guy who brought Steam Night to us. I don't know why his sprite looks like he's wearing a gas mask, because he obviously isn't. Like, I don't know, it's really weird. So we're racing up this, obviously just racing up this slope or whatever, cliff wall. These platforms are actually ones that we'll run across later. Alright, so ideally I'll have him right behind me when I finish. That's the fastest. Nice. Okay, so I get to the top and then he hops to the top. So the idea behind that little game is that those platforms that push out knock you off the wall. And so when you're climbing up, they'll knock you down and you'll have to start climbing again. If Rutrick gets knocked off the wall, then he falls all the way down, and that little animation at the top, Musashi actually runs off screen and grabs a big rock and then throws it down and hits him with it. So it saves a little bit of time if he doesn't fall. It's pretty broken though. If one of those actually push out, if you just hold up while you're climbing, Musashi just latches onto the wall behind it anyway, so you don't actually fall. So this is the first scroll. It's the Earth Scroll. We're going to be collecting 7 throughout the game. Each one gives you an ability for Lumina, and the game is highly dependent on using these abilities to progress. So the Earth Scroll kind of gives us this like earthquake. This part of the game is weird. It's the only part that Lumina talks to you. But it's this really creepy, like Power Ranger type voice. And it's like not talking telepathic communication, and it's just really fucking awkward. The menuing in this game is not that difficult, but it can lose you some time. When you switch Lumina abilities, you have to go into the menu, select the Lumina menu, and then go to that ability. So you have to press X a couple times, and if you get in too much of a hurry, you'll just go all over the place, and yeah. This is...
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
What'd you break, Dylan?
Nothing as far as I can see.
But this is one of the like bigger platforming portions of the game, and there's these waterfalls that come down, but we can actually bypass them. It's pretty precise. I'll probably try it a few times, but if you just go to that edge, you can wrap around it, and then right here, just all the way to the right. They don't do that much. They do 18 damage, but the biggest thing is that they push you down into the water, and you have to reset your position, and that takes some time. The cover slides, so if you... God, that part's truly... So this section, the only reason that we're climbing up the mountain is to actually grab 2 Bincho fields that we need to progress. And in order to get them, you're supposed to do all this platforming and all this other lame shit, but if you just go up top here and jump down, then it's not a big deal. That was definitely the wrong spot, but okay. There is a global timered set of platforms that are just up here to the left, and there's really not a good way to gauge where you're going to be at with them, so we just jump back up top and hop down. It's a little quicker anyway. But this is kind of like the climbing mechanic is fairly broken. You just jump up here and it's way faster. These little dino bones that are sticking out are designed to really fuck you up, but it makes you feel like you need to press the direction you're going, but if you just use Musashi's momentum and just press X and stay neutral on the D-pad, the game automatically puts you on the next platform. That was... So, to progress, we have to have 4 people to open up Hell's Valley, and that's where the first boss is at the end of this chapter. The bosses are called Relic Keepers, or I'm sorry, the Relic Keepers is the second boss. They're called Crest Guardians, and every scroll that you get has crests associated with it. And the only way you can activate those crests is if you defeat the Crest Guardian. So those are also loaded into the map right now, but until I defeat Trollpian, then I'm not actually able to use any of those. But there is a sequence break involving those crests later on, because they're basically designed so after you defeat the Crest Guardian, you go and activate them and you get abilities or you move forward in the story. And so we can manipulate the game by tricking it into thinking we're in a different chapter than we are, but I'll talk about that when we get there. This game started as basically one guy running it back in 2012, and that was Short Circuit SRL. As far as I know, this is basically the only game that he ever did speedruns of. And before any of the major sequence breaks were put into the run, he had a 3-hour, 12-minute time, which is the current time on SDA, and it was a fairly solid run with minimal mistakes. And we had kind of been discussing things on the forums in 2013, but I never got around to running the game. And then once the sequence breaks became RTA viable, it cut a large amount of time off the run, and the world record kind of bounced back and forth a couple times, and there's a lot of new people in the community. Short Circuit is still around. He hasn't really been doing runs because IRL RNG. There's a very good runner who's still pretty active named S. Barris, who I'd imagine is probably in the chat right now. But Barris has got a 2:47. Short Circuit has a 2-hour 46-minute, and then there was another runner generically named who has a 3:08 who hasn't been around for a little while. But the game is fairly easy to pick up. There's still a lot of optimizations left. My current PB is a 2-hour 43-minute 46-second, but it has a shit ton of mistakes in it, and I don't know, man, it's a fun game to run. It's got pretty decent action throughout the entire thing. So now we're gonna go to one of the few times we have to go to the kingdom here, and we have to go talk to the geezer, and basically he just says, well, in order to get to Hell's Valley you need 4 people, and then he goes through and says, oh, how many people have you rescued, and he names them all off, and he talks really old-timey for some reason, and we haveth 4 people, and then you're allowed to go into Hell's Valley. But you have to do this or you can't actually go in there. It's pretty dumb. But since Macho's still in front of Let me see it. I'll see if I can get it. So after he talks, here it is. I skipped the audio. So he kind of describes to you about the Crest Guardians and what they do. And you can see on the right side of the screen that the avatar of Musashi is starting to close in a little bit, and that just means that he's getting tired. And if you have a tired meter that goes from 0 to 100, and if you get 60% tired, then Musashi's movement speed slows down. But the way the game is routed, you should never have to worry about that. There's one spot when we get into a dungeon that you get like to 53%, but you sleep for a little cycle and should be able to clear it. If you press select at any time, like right now I have the Earth Scroll selected, but if I press select, you can see, I'll do it here. On the bottom left of the screen there's a small moon. So when you hold R1 as opposed to charging your swords, Musashi just goes to sleep. And he can go to sleep at any time. And while you're sleeping, your HP recovers. You get 4 HP. God damn it. You get 4 HP at all times every hour of in-game time, which is 30 seconds. And while you sleep, that speeds up. So there is a pixel perfect trick right here, which you can either get it or when you fall off, it puts you on the spot. So those two boulders came crashing down. It's designed so that only one comes down at a time, but if you get on the right position, then you can knock both of them down. This one has a lot more leeway on it, and it's pretty easy. There is a third boulder here. And then the platform coming up, you have to knock down a walkway, but essentially the entire thing will trigger it. It's like from that point I just jump to forward. Any spot in here will knock that platform down. This is why we needed the 4 people to get into Hell's Valley, so that they could simultaneously jump on these switches to part the cliff. So this boss sucks big time. There's a little bit of RNG. You can manipulate his movement somewhat. I haven't completely figured out how to manipulate it, or why. Ideally, he'll give us breath attacks. He can swipe his tail, he can drill his tail up through the ground and poison you, or he can just run at you or jump at you. So the idea behind the fight is that you use the Earth Scroll, and you can see these baskets being passed along the top. So this breath attack is what we want. But they load items into the baskets, and so those were bombs, and I missed all of them because I went preemptively. So there he jumped. So he should breathe here. Okay. So we have to knock these bombs out of the basket, and they do damage to him. So I did 30 damage there. There's 6 bombs. God damn you, dude. These rocks do 100 damage. And he has set damage intervals, and after he gets hit for a certain amount of damage, then he'll open his mouth and you can hit the orb inside of him. That was good. So that actually takes his life bar down. Oh, I should have stomped right there. Hit him, maybe. Alright, so that was shitty. But by standing in front of him here, I think that... What, dude? Please. So it's just completely random if they hit him or not, which is super rad. Alright, so I took poison damage there purposely, which isn't a big deal, because they're gonna drop this antidote anyway. Okay, so this is the... Hello, dude? The dumb part of the fight is that he jumps up on top of the wall, and he will attack the people that are throwing the basket to you. And if you don't knock him off of the wall, he'll daze them, and then they can't do anything. That's perfect, dude, because now every bomb hits him. So if you can get lucky and have him jump up to the side there, then that's rad. I should be able to wait till the third one goes here. Don't jump, dick. Oh, perfect. So it's pretty RNG based, like what he actually does. Damn it, dude. That would have been a bomb. That would have been awesome. I think that these guys pretty much... Oh, I'm gonna get greedy. Alright. If you wait too long there, then he just hits those guys, and it sucks. Bomb, stone, what do we got? Alright, shit. So if you knock the stone down, that's not too bad. Dude, you dick. What? Please, dude, now they're gonna get hit. Shit. Now they're gonna get hit. Fuck, dude, what a dickhead. Okay, so I have this stone, I can throw it at him and it does 40 damage, but I missed him. So, I don't know why he didn't fall off right there, dude, because he was on the wall, but he takes damage that's uncounted when he falls right there. This guy, dude, what a douche. I mean, it's my execution error, but you can see that that takes a shit. Dude, fuck off. So, the rock there that would have sent him into his last cycle fell. So now I gotta wait for the basket. Cool game, dude. Alright. Oh my god, you are. What, dude?
You can.
What the fuck, dude? What the fuck, dude? Oh my god, man. What hit him? Was there bombs in the basket? Fuck off, dude. Okay, so you can see that it did damage to him and killed him for whatever reason, but sick, dude. So that was probably the worst fight of Scorpion I've ever had. He's aptly named Tropian. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to look into that and see, like, if he has the first couple frames he lands on the wall or something that he can't get hit. Maybe I probably just hit him too early and so he wasn't latched onto the wall yet. But yeah, so that's the first Crest Guardian. Luckily we can just mash start to basically skip every cutscene in the game. The one shitty thing about me taking forever on that fight is that you can see now it's 6:30 in the morning. And so that kind of messes some things up. There's a couple events that are very specifically timed here, but luckily for us, we can take advantage of that because it doesn't really matter how long we sleep right here. So the mayor and this guy, Hotello, are gonna come out, and I have to talk to him in order to progress. And so I can sleep, the different rooms that you sleep in, like room 201 and 204 are the ones that we use. 201 you sleep for 8 hours, and room 204 you sleep for 3 hours. And so depending on what I actually need to do in the run, those two can get me to the exact time I need. So these guys actually come out here at like 10:45. They come out in front of the store and they tell you that Tim, who's Hotello's kid, has been bitten by a monster called a Vambi, which is just a vampire zombie, and now I need to find the cure for them. So in the mines there's a flower called Mysteria, and I have to talk to this dude that lives in the windmill at 11 o'clock at night, because that's the only time he opens his door, to get the key to go get Mysteria. But the caveat to Mysteria is that it only blooms in the mine from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so, luckily for us, if you sleep right here, so 2300, and you can see a little light in the windmill actually turn on like he woke up. So this guy, Wid, who lives in the windmill, you tell him that Tim was bitten by a Vambi, and we need the key to the windmill, and he happily obliges. So now we just run to the mine, and luckily for us, we get to Mysteria without any huge mistakes right around like 5 a.m. So it's in bloom and we can just grab it. There's a trick coming up called Mysteria Skip, and that's the one that I talked about that was completely random. So basically the way it works is there's a central platform where Mysteria is at, and this game basically has an origin in every single separate room, so X coordinate and Y coordinate 0, 0, and there's also a Z coordinate, which is vertical height, and so from 0, you know, negative is left, when you're talking about X, and positive numbers are right, and then Y-axis, same thing, Z-axis, same thing. And so, based on the position that you fall off of this central platform, these rocks are RNG, by the way, the game will get confused, because if you fall off at the right spot, then it has nowhere to put you back on the platform, and so it immediately puts you back at the entrance to the room. The only problem with that is that it is completely random and it can't be recreated. Even if you stand on the exact same pixel and press the forward button on the same frame, it works sometimes and it doesn't other times. There's a really good YouTube video by Alec Torn after him and I discussed it and he looked into it, talking about why it possibly works. You can skip that fan cycle by just falling in there quickly enough. Those fans are designed so that you get height off the top of them. This part can be kind of trolly because these treadmills don't actually count as platforms. And so if you fall into the pit below you, it doesn't reset you on the treadmill. It resets you on the wooden platform that you were last on. Okay, so it's 3 a.m., so Mysteria just now bloomed. And you'll see why it's nice if we can skip back to this point right here. There's these rotating platforms that go around the level, and luckily for us, they designed it really well. There's a Bencho field right there that we don't need, but you can't jump around those diamonds that are actually on the platform, so we have to wait for this to rotate all the way around the central platform so that we can get up to the flower. There's a small sequence break here, just bad programming. You can hop right there and cut that corner. So then we grab Mysteria. 46, that's fucking awful, dude. So we can also skip back down here by charging. So this is the point that's random. We can fall off there. I'll try it a couple times. You fall off this point, like right here, and he falls into the water, and then for whatever reason, if you hit it on the right frame and the right pixel, the game just like freezes, and it shoots you back to the origin, or the entrance, because it doesn't know where to put you. And it saves, if you get it first try, it saves about 40 seconds. But, alas, now we gotta take the platform shame ride. Alright, and then, of course, there's a chest right here, and so you have to wait for this platform so you can actually leave. One thing we want to make sure we do is keep an eye on our HP, because if we get down to 0 and we die, then our S-Revive will be used, and a big sequence break that we have that requires that will not be able to get done, and it'll lose like 10 minutes. AKA, I'll be grinding money so that I can do it. This portion too is designed for you to go deeper into the mine, but we can just go back the way we came in. You can go in the mine and explore and get some chests and shit like that. See that doorway to the right there? So this is what the fans do. And if you do this correctly, you can get height on the first cycle. Even though the fan's slowing down, it's not supposed to give you a jump boost, but it does anyway. So here's more boulder RNG. Like, I just get to run straight through that time for whatever reason. These little guys slow you down, but don't actually do damage. They take your BP, which is essentially like your MP, and allows you to do your abilities. BP, if you run to 0, will also slow you down, like if you were tired. I don't know why I waited for that cycle.
Good luck with this.
Alright, dude. Thanks, Gary. Nice run earlier, dude.
Didn't say anything again, Didn't say anything. Easy.
Boulder RNG.
See what you Yep.
So now we exit the mine, and when we had the conversation earlier with Hotello and the mayor, Hotello, who's Tim's dad, said he was going to go to the top of Twin Peaks Mountain, and he was going to go get the water on the peak that we didn't actually see before, which is called Aquilin. And Aquilin is essential with Mysteria to making sure that we can actually cure Tim from his Vambi bite. So luckily, because the way the platforming works and the way the timing works out when you talk to Wid, the mayor, who gets here at 10 a.m., is right outside, and so we can just progress right along. A lot of the routing changes that happened were just so we could make events like that happen in real time without having to actually go to sleep. The original route had a lot of sleeping in it that was routed very well, but it's just kind of unnecessary. There's a few points during the game that we basically even up, and it'll always be the same day and it'll always be the same time, and so we don't have to worry about the in-game time as much, because you know that once we do a certain event, like you have to, like talking to Wid, for example, in the windmill, you always know that it's going to be Thursday at 2300 that you get to talk to him, just because you sleep until that point. And if you progress through the route normally, even with me getting L-jump second try, it's still the right amount of time, because then I have to sleep until 11 a.m. to open the store. So there's little points where you can fall behind and worry about your time, but you know you're going to get caught back up. The reason that's important is what I was talking to Slurpee about earlier. To access the final dungeon, you have to have it be Sky Day, and it has to be raining. And Sky Day is actually Friday, so once a week we have Friday, or Sky Day. And day 12, a week from right now, so day 5 is Sky Day. Day 12 is ideally when we'll enter the final dungeon. There is after... Is it after this? There's a point where I'm going to cure Tim, and after I talk to him, everybody needs to remind me to talk to Wanda. Because if I don't talk to Wanda, we're completely fucked.
Okay.
So here is Hotello, the brave guy who's going to save his son, who says that he's too tired. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Says that he's too tired to, actually go up to the peak and talk to his son. And then, of course, the game loves these fucking timers, so he says, I'm so tired, there's only 12 hours until my son becomes a Bambi, so I'm going to stay here while you go and rescue him. And basically all we do is go up to the peak and grab Aqualin, and then we give it to him, and then he takes it to the village. There's a couple bits of money laying around that you just pick up because it's not out of the way. That dinosaur fossil is such a pain in the ass. Like that part where you jump back onto the platforms to climb up the hill, that's a slope, and if you don't go neutral on the D-pad, Musashi likes to slide down it and you won't actually jump. And these ribs, I just wanted to do that because that's how broken the platforms are in this game. You have to be close and you have to be on the center, or you can just fall through it. That's cool too. Dude, hello? What?
Wow, dude.
Good game, dude. A lot of times if you get these sprites over here, it basically makes you fall through the platform. This is awesome, dude. Oh, there we go. Okay, so those platforms are pretty tight even once you make it. And then once again, just the game trying to show off Lumina's skills here. Just totally unnecessary shit. And this, like, you just press X, you press nothing else, and he flings you up. This is what Tim couldn't come and get. This is Aqualin. We tried and tried to come up to the top here and try to find a sequence break so that you could just grab Aqualin and try to fool Tim, but it doesn't work. Another thing they didn't account for is how shitty PlayStation is. And so you can just fall right off the ledge and go back here without having to actually progress through anything. Sorry, I click my analog sticks all the time while I'm playing this. So you can... Okay, that's super tight jump. You just come all the way to the front of that platform and you can jump across. If you miss that, that waterfall does 18 damage and then you fall into the water, which does 35 damage, and then puts you back on the platform, and then you have to wait for a cycle again. So it's like a 2-second time save that can really fuck you if you miss it.
When are you talking to Wanda?
Talking to Wanda right after I talked to the baker. So basically where we're at now is they introduced the idea of these Vambies, and they said, okay, Tim got bit by a Vambi, but where are these Vambies coming from? Regardless of that, we need to make sure that we save Tim, because they don't want him to turn into a vampire zombie. So now we're going to run back, and hopefully Tim got cured, since we gave his fearless dad all our profit. Basically, the theme of this game is Musashi saves everybody's ass and they take credit for it. That's essentially what every single person does. So the timing here works out pretty well too, even though I fell on that fossil a couple of times, because the dungeon we're about to enter only opens at midnight, and every half an hour after that until 3 a.m. And so you can go into the doors every half an hour. And that's the reason we need to talk to Wanda. If we don't talk to Wanda, then the dungeon doesn't actually open. You can enter it, but Musashi doesn't know to look behind the counter of the restaurant. Hello. So these guys are weird, man. They're not even supposed to be over there, but sometimes they just go to your position and it's way off kilter. So this is Tim. He's a little kook. He carries around a Harry Potter wand and wears a pot on his head. He's the innkeeper Hotelo's son.
Should we talk to Wanda?
I will talk to Wanda.
Hey,
So,
talk to Wanda.
so right now we go to the store and we go through this big cutscene. Oh, I thought it froze for a second. I'm like, hello. And now you can buy oranges in the store is basically the whole point of this. They do a pretty cool dance right here for saving your kid's life. But now you'll hear a banging. So the baker says there's weird stuff going on inside the restaurant at night, and he says that he's had too many pork chops, the restaurant owner has, and essentially what actually happens is they say that he's drinking too much soda and eating too many pork chops, but in actuality he's a drunk, and they just changed it for the American version of the game. So you can see it's 2100, which is pretty perfect right now. So we have to talk to Wanda or Macho right here, but preferably Wanda, because her text box is shorter. Alright, are we in there? Okay, so now we can sleep for 3 hours, and that'll make it midnight, so the door will be open. It's possible that I can get into the door here, but anytime a door swings closed, the loading zone for it goes away. So I'm probably going to miss it, yeah. But that's alright, it's going to open right back up. So that's a Vambi right there. We're going to see him here a little bit more, but they open the door and wander around. Okay, so basically what Wanda says is that they're no longer at the bar and they're staying in the hotel because there's these ghouls that are coming out from behind the counter. And if you don't talk to her, then that trigger doesn't happen, so you can't get inside. I'm jumping over these soda bottles here because the restaurant owner is drunk down here talking about somebody, the ghouls, trying to steal his treasure, and he wants you to help him get rid of them. So, silly soda. So this door is what he's taking us to see. There's 4 eyes in it, and he wants to get it open because the ghouls are coming from out of there to steal the treasure that he has. It's his life savings. This is probably the most difficult dungeon in the game, aside from the final one. And a lot of people have got interested in this game and played this part and then quit because it's a pain in the ass. Pretty steep learning curve. But if you make any mistakes in here, you're kind of fucked. There is a couple tricks in here that save a lot of time. I have to throw this Vambi to actuate this switch. But it's all just little puzzles and bullshit for the most part. This little gimmick for this room is that there's dark rooms, and that those little blue orbs illuminate the rooms. And so as we progress through it, you'll see that there's like these spikes and shit. And so we have to get through the spikes. Or you can just get hit by them, that works too. Dude, hello? Okay. Anyway, that was weird. And then these teleporters, if you take the wrong one, it teleports you back to the beginning. The rooms are pretty strange how they progress, and this is all underneath the restaurant in Grillin' Village, mind you, so there's definitely some crazy shit going on out here. I just try to hit these bats. Yo, I'm gonna use that so I don't have to use an item. Dude, hello? Oh, fuck, I got poisoned. So if you get poisoned, you slow down really, really badly. But luckily, these guys here can drop antidotes. Yeah, alright. That was actually pretty lucky. So, at the beginning of the dungeon, if you fall down where I jumped over the spike pits, one of these rooms, like the last one, is actually right at the end of that. And we haven't figured out if you can get to the top of it yet, but there's some really weird shit in this game as far as the jumping mechanics are concerned. And it would be really cool if you could break through that area. So it's this spot right here. And it's right at the very beginning, so if we could figure out a way to get up top here, it would save that entire room. This part is really dumb. And these jumps do a lot of damage, and they're hard to dodge. That was actually really good. Ideally, you can get through it without taking a hit, but I'll take that. That was pretty good. This is like the hardest of the dark rooms. Hello. I'm killing it right now. There's some good visual cues here, like you just jump where that ghoul's at. They put the bats in to try to help you see, but really they just get in your way. So this is one of the eyeballs that go to the room. And then you just step back in the teleporter and call it a day. If we talk to the restaurant owner, he will give us a piece of cake that fully restores HP and BP. And I'll probably do that just to be safe and so I don't have to use healing items. I shouldn't even really need it, but it's like just a couple seconds and it's free. So. Yeah, there's a little gimmick in every single one of these rooms, and a majority of them have to do with just platforming and assimilating abilities from enemies. This room has a pretty interesting feature where you actually go bowling and you bowl down Vambies. So I try to grab that guy for lag reduction, because if you grab the first guy, it lags like crazy. And we're gonna do a couple little sequence breaks here. They're not really like big or anything, but just you're supposed to jump into these holes, but you can just avoid stuff by jumping around it. And there's a lot of little platforming things like this where you can just jump across to save time. Alright, this room is the worst room ever, dude. Because you can jump around those like that, but it's really dependent on your height and your position, and those things are dumb. So here's the first of two bowling rooms. It's set up so you assimilate from that guy, but it's just easier to do at the beginning. I haven't figured out a consistent way to do this yet, and depending on the Vambi swing, maybe? Yo, dude, please. I got a spare at least. So ideally you get a strike there, because not only is it faster, but you get a sword level up, a mind level up, a body level up, and a fusion sword level up. So you get levels in this game based upon a couple things. You get sword levels by using your sword, so if you assimilate abilities or use your fusion sword to hit enemies, then you will level up. And same thing with Lumina. When you use Lumina on crests or you hit enemies with it, you'll get a level up. Ah, shit. So this guy, as long as you don't look at him, won't shoot fire at you. This is a crusher sequence that is not really that menacing. And it's not broken in any way. So you can do like some weird jumps here that just pop you up through it, and it doesn't... You can't die there though, so I'm not going to do too many of them, but you can do that all the way up where you clip through the walls. Alright, bowling sequence. Number 2, hopefully we can nail that perfect 10. I've never got 2 strikes in a single run. That would be God tier though. That was way too fucking early, dude. That should be decent. Dude, please. That was way too far. So this guy's a troll, but alright, that should be good. So that's based on a lot of things. If the Vambies stood still and they didn't sway back and forth, it wouldn't be a big deal. But they sway back and forth, so it changes on like every frame where you have to shoot. So if we do this quick enough, these guys don't quit moving, but we can just go right through them. If those Vambies grab you, they can stun lock you and kill you. Even though they don't do that much damage, they can like never let go of you. That's probably the easiest room out of all of them. The next 2 rooms are actually pretty hard. We're going to go into the techno room, which is pretty hype. It's got super good music. This entire game has a pretty bitchin' soundtrack. I'd like to go into the last room with full HP so I can try to get Bat Jump. Bat Jump is this random jump that these bats attack you, and by taking damage you go further horizontally than you normally would. And there's kind of, sort of a setup for it, but not really. So get out your glow sticks. So basically there's just a bunch of rotating platforms here. They're pretty easy to get across, but if you miss a cycle on one of them or you slip off, which is pretty easy to do, it's a pretty good time waster. Because same as the treadmills before down in the mines, if you fall off this, it doesn't count it as a platform and it just puts you back at the beginning. Not the beginning of the room, but like right here where I'm jumping off, it put me back there. Oh, hello. For the most part, these are pretty free though. That it's kind of hard to fall off of them. If you just jump, you keep your same position without sliding. This room has a nifty little break in it where you can jump around that guy and then jump around this guy. Holy fuck, dude! That's the first time I've ever got both those in a run like that. But yeah, those are like really precise jumps and they save a bit of time. Okay, so these blocks are on a global timer as well, dickheads. If the bats don't hit you, then you can make all of them without stopping, but the bats decided to attack me. Again? Dude, fuck off. Okay, so it didn't register me jumping on that platform, apparently. Super cool. These bats, like, never attack you. But yeah, without them attacking you, you can just jump across the platforms like that, and it's a pretty easy room. But we're going to use them attacking like that in a straight line to our advantage, hopefully, later. These little pendulums do a shit ton of damage. They do 42 if they hit you. This is another little break. Hello! So if we jump here, we can just skip, like, the entire room, basically. You can do the same thing here by jumping down onto this platform, but it's a really precise jump. It's a 2-frame window, and I don't ever go for it, because then I end up going for it a bunch and missing it and missing it. This room is potentially pretty dangerous, because if you get hit by a pendulum and then you get knocked into the lava, the pendulum does 42, and then the lava does 28. So just like that. I'm gonna just run down to Homeboy and get a piece of cake, so I don't have to use healing items. Are they guillotines? Aren't they pendulums, dude?
Pendulums are round, though.
I thought guillotines came straight down.
They do.
Well, pendulum's like a pendulum, yeah, but I thought those are called pendulums, too.
Giant swinging axes.
used pizza. Alright, so this jump is really, really dumb, dude. There's a frame perfect jump in this room that I'm absolutely going to go for. It saves 10 seconds. I'll probably go for it like 5 times and lose all of it, but it's a pretty cool jump. I thought that it wasn't possible before, but I did it a couple times and it's pretty good. So if you jump like on the last frame that you're on this thing, that was a frame too late, you can make this jump. Okay, fuck that. But then you don't have to do any of this. Oh, hello. Oh, you fucker. Oh, God. Okay. This is Short Circuit's favorite room. He really likes to fall off the platforms in here. But yeah, so you would just land on this platform as opposed to having to run across that entire thing. So this is where Bat Jump is. It saves 54 seconds if you do it on first try. I haven't gotten it in a run in a long fucking time, man.
Oh.
So that was just like a little bit short. Way too fucking early, dude. What kind of health do I have? I'll probably go for it one more time. And Bambies are acting up. So if you do Bat Jump, you skip all these puzzle rooms. And in my PB, I didn't get Bat Jump. I went for it twice like I did there, but I missed it. I also missed Mysterious Skip in my PB.
PB pace.
I don't even know anymore what my PB pace is. So yeah, dude, we could have skipped all this if... Yeah. There's just not... Currently, there's not a consistent setup for Bat Jump. That's something that I'd really like to do. But like in Short Circuit's SDA run, he got Bat Jump first try, and that's ridiculous. Even if you get it like second or third try, it saves a shit ton of time because you land right there. So you just have to do this to get to the room I'm in, and you skip the previous 3 rooms. So I was talking about Musashi being tired, and so right here you missed that platform anyway, so we're 59% tired. And you can see the timer down at the bottom is speeding up. So if you go down to 50%, you're pretty good. And you have to wait for that so you can make that jump. It's pretty dumb. This is another little feature that they have. What the fuck am I doing? Where it's just like a dark room. And you'll see here when it gets light that there's a path. But we can cut corners and basically do whatever we want. So this is the very first room that we entered after that frame perfect jump that I missed. If those blocks hit you and push you back down, you have to go back through everything. This next room is designed so that there's spikes on the side, and you're supposed to jump down at a right angle. But if you can just skim off the sides of these, you miss all the spikes, and it saves a bit of time. This is pretty hard when you do it casually, but you can just like jump diagonally all the way to the left, and then all the way back to the right, and that's it. If you fall down there at the bottom, there's actually a Bencho field down there. Cool, dude. So I missed like all the major shit so far. Where's my phone? I actually need a timer. I thought I set it somewhere. I'm gonna need a timer for a triple jump. Thought I had it. Yeah, I just need like a little stopwatch. Okay, so we got the 4 eyes here, and the restaurant owner is gone. So, yeah, that's fine. But he came down here because the ghouls were out to get his treasure. But when we talk to him, we find out, hey, where are the ghouls? And he says, ha ha ha, the treasure is mine. And so basically he set us up. He opened the back of the restaurant, finding out there was a treasure in it, and released all the ghouls into the village because he wanted to be rich off the treasure. But it turns out there's just an ugly belt sitting inside of it. So he says, all right, cool. Well, thanks for killing the Vambies. Here's this ugly belt. And believe it or not, the ugly belt is the legendary belt. And so the legendary belt allows us to do a double jump, which we are going to abuse the shit out of to do some major sequence breaking. So it's very imperative here that we enter the appraiser at exactly 11 o'clock. And so we'll come here, and I'm gonna save. Oh shit.
Welcome.
Okay, that's fine. So I need to have full health too. So this is like a major sequence break, and it's highly possible that I could mess it up, which is whatever. Okay, so I have full health, that's good. So now it's 9:45, so I'm just gonna go over here and sleep by the appraiser to make sure I get into it at 11. So we're gonna appraise the legendary belt, and he'll give us double jump. And when I was talking about taking damage earlier, and okay. So when you have a double jump, when you take damage, it allows you to do the second half of your jump, which is a front flip. And so if we take any kind of physical damage, then we can do the second half of the jump. Well, poison damage happens to also be physical damage. Or I'm sorry, poison allows you to die, and then the S revive allows you to do a jump as physical damage would for whatever reason. And so this is a very particular timing. If you look at the in-game timer, it's 11:15 right now and 11:30. I should be getting poisoned at 11:45. So I take poison here on purpose. And the reason that I get poisoned at 11:45 is because at the top of every in-game hour, you get 4 HP. And so we have to die at a certain time in order to do a triple jump so that we can do a sequence break across this water. And the reason I need a timer is because when I take poison damage here at 12:45, 23 seconds later is when I need to start my jump. Hello? Okay, that's a little bit early, but that's okay. So this is a point where I may have to reset at some point, but hopefully not. Okay, so now I have 6 health, right? My bad. Okay. Okay, sweet. I'm glad I got that first try. You're not supposed to get here for a while, and basically what we just skipped was having to go to the church and fight all the Vambies inside the church. And it's this really long fight, and you have to wait till 2 in the morning and all this other shit. And so by getting the S revive and getting the money from Macho at the beginning, then we get to just skip all that, and we go to the water scroll immediately. Alright, so this is another trick that hopefully I can get. That crest right there is very important later on. So this bell skip was actually found by the runner S. Barris, who found a couple of really cool things in this game. And we used to think that we needed, well, you're supposed to have this bell in the game. Hold on, let me see. I think right there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit. Dude, hello? Ah, fuck. Okay, I have to be out of here by 15:30. Hopefully. Okay. I don't... okay, so if I get this, this will save 40 seconds. If I can get to the appraiser before it closes, I'm probably not going to get it. I'm going to get there and the door is going to close right in my face. Which happens all the time. Watch, here it is, motherfucker! So, there goes 40 free seconds. Basically, if you can get that bell jump in 2 jumps, let me think, 8, yeah, that should work. If you can get that bell jump in 2 tries, then you get to go to the appraiser before he closes, and you get the legendary vest, which allows you to charge faster, and it saves a second, or half a second, every single time you charge your sword. On top of that, it allows you to do the Relic Keeper fight 40 seconds faster, so I missed that in my PB too. So now I have the L vest, and we're gonna go down here. So normally what you do in the game is you grab that bell that I jumped off of, and you have to throw it across where the water's at, and you have to go all the way through the mines, throwing it, and then you give it to the priest. But S. Barris discovered if you jump up here that you can enter the loading zone to the door. So shout outs to him. Because basically when you throw the bell, you give it to the priest so that he can ring the bell at the church, and he gives you a statue that you put in that door to open it. So we have to have the L belt, and we have to have the water scroll in order to do this part. Oh, whoops, wrong jump. There's these little sequence breaks all over the place around here where you can... That's too short. Oh, good. I just missed one because I don't want to take any more damage. That fucking bat, dude. So there's another damage boost that we're gonna take here that we take advantage of that being able to do the second part of our jump. So there's these flames we're gonna load right here. Then we'll jump across and take damage and then jump. And that skips a gigantic section of this level. I don't think the developers thought the double jump was as broken as it is, or as useful as it is, because you can just bypass a bunch of platforms in the game. Like here, you're supposed to grab that Vambi and hit the switch, but you just double jump across it instead. Okay, so this is the room before the Relic Keeper. Another important mechanic in the game is that if you take your Lumina ability and switch it out with another one, that it cancels your charge. So you can see here, hold on, that my charge is going down, and that allows me to shoot the water out of my sword. If I were to go into the pause menu and select a different skill on Lumina, then it would cancel that out, so I wouldn't have to wait for the charge to deplete. Did I miss that first one? What the fuck? But that comes in handy because when this water shield is up, you can't swing your sword. The only thing you can do is the ability that the water shield allows you to do, which is shoot water. This boss and basically all the bosses following will use whatever scroll that you got, and the crest that they guard is their weakness. There's a pretty funny little cutscene in here that we'll chat about. Let me see. So this guy is huge, the Rasta Bra, and he stands up and the ceiling falls on him, so he holds it the whole time.
What a loser! The ceiling's collapsed and he can't move. Geek.
Yeah. Just like the voice acting in this game is hilarious, man. So basically, like the other boss, Trollpian, that we fought, he goes through 3 phases, and we have to expose his orb or whatever in order to actually do damage to him. So I take damage there to get rid of my water shield. Didn't mean to take it there. But by taking damage and getting rid of your water shield, it also gets rid of your charge. So you can charge up and have a full meter faster. Like this, how he swoops down, that's like the best pattern we can have. And we want him to do that. So if I didn't run out of that, then I wouldn't be able to hit him like that. Okay, so I switched Lumina there so I could get rid of my charge on the water scroll so I could hit him, and then I immediately switched back to the water scroll. So the first phase is obviously the easiest, and he just does this attack, which rules. Right now he gets small and prances around and is a pain in the ass. But you really should never take damage in this fight because your water scroll, you don't get hurt when he hits you. Okay, that was actually really good for that particular portion. Okay, this is like the worst phase to do hits on him because he basically just bounces around and his hitbox sucks. Okay, so now he's going to stand in the middle so I get a full charge so I can do as much damage to him as I can. Or he drops that on my head. So he should have been dead right there. But he'll die soon, that's good. Alright. Hello. If you miss 2 swings on the bosses, their orb goes back in. You have to do the cycle over. It's not because you missed the swing, it's just timing. So if we see the sword, I'm bad. That's kind of the rule in this fight, is if he becomes a sword, you suck. Even without having the L-Vest. The L-Vest makes this fight super easy because you save so much time when you're charging. Hello, dude. Oh, dude, what? What the fuck was that, dude? He jumped into the wall. I have never seen him do that. That totally fucked everything up. Alright, cool. So I'm not the worst. I'm pretty bad. So yeah, that fight, just the L-Vest there saves 40 seconds. And it's because the fight is more efficient and every single charge that you have saves a second. Oh, nice long cutscene. So that's kind of like the weird part of the game, and it only gets weirder. This game is like got some really weird shit in it, but it's awesome. Like all those cutscenes that I'm skipping are, you need to definitely play through and watch those. We're gonna have another huge sequence break here. It's called the Slug Skip. If anybody's familiar with Deuceler, then yeah.
Pretty decent rage quit highlight.
So when I was first figuring out the strats in this game, Slug Skip really hadn't been done before, and I had done it twice and I didn't really understand the particulars about it, and I was in the middle of a run and I was having a pretty weird time IRL, and it was just like, I don't know, man, I was on that skip for like 15 minutes and controllers were broken. So there is a little thing you can do here with the S revive, where you actually take damage as you die and you fall into the water, and you go underwater and grab the chest without having to use the crest. And kind of weird, but it's cool. So here I got these glasses, which turn out to be the L goggles. And the L goggles allow us to appraise items without going to the appraiser. And that's actually a really big item for us to have later on, because we're going to go to the Ice Palace and there's items that we have to advance there. I would go to the appraiser right now to get those items appraised, but the appraiser's closed on Mondays, so he's closed until Tuesday. Nice work, dude. This is a point that I'm sure people wish they knew this casually. I know I did when I figured it out, or when I saw it for the first time. Normally you wander through these caves and you assimilate enemy... Caves? These are caves. Wander through these forests and assimilate stuff from enemies, but you can just use your water shield and hop in the water. I cancel that there so that I don't have to wait for the charge to go away. Alright. So this is Slug Skip. It's highly dependent on your pixel position, and it uses the other part of the hop glitch I talked about earlier. So what we did before was store the jump, and now we're just going to use the jump immediately. So if I have my pixel position correctly, then we're going to just hop over this slug. That's good. Alright, got it. So that is about a 15-minute time save over the intended route. The thing that you have to do here is make sure it's during the day. If you come here at night, the water's too high and you can't actually actuate the crest. So doing this also sets up another sequence break for us because we're in Chapter 4 right now, and since we used that crest, the game assumes that we already used the crest in Chapter 3, but we didn't. So just kind of keep that in mind for later on. And you can totally make the fire scroll face in chat if you feel like it. Somebody mentioned that I should make an emote out of it, but I'm like, you don't need to. It's already an emote by itself. So this fight is a little bit slower than it used to be, because since we skipped the church, we lose like 10 levels on Lumina, so you do way less damage. But critical hits help a lot, so hopefully we can get some critical hits. This guy is Kojiro. He is Musashi's rival, and he's actually his rival in the Miyamoto Musashi books as well. So that's another piece of lore from the Musashi story. Okay, so that's good. We want him to stay over on this side. Yep. Okay. So we just manipulate him to attack, and then we have to wait, and we swing our sword. So Lumina level up, I should do like 74 damage now, or 78, that's the high end. This game does have some damage rolls. They aren't as extreme as like Final Fantasy IV or something like that, but with this level I can go anywhere from like 72 to 78. You saw that I missed that swing, and then holy shit, or 82, I mean. I missed that swing and just hit him with a regular Lumina attack, and it did 38 damage, and that's why we constantly are doing this attack. But super easy boss fight. Okay. So another part of this slug skip that's actually harder than the initial skip is getting back through the slug. You have the option initially when you do this part of the game, you're supposed to go back to the mines and you have to find a golden wheel for the gondola for the kingdom, and it's like all this bullshit, and then you get rock salt, and then you use the rock salt to shrink the slug. Well, since we beat Kojiro, the game thinks we have the rock slug in our inventory, or the rock salt, excuse me, in our inventory. And so if you talk to or interact with the slug, it says, do you want to use the rock salt? And we were like, sick, dude, you don't have to jump back through. The screen shakes a fucking lot, so if you don't want to have a seizure, look away. So we have to use the princess to actually clip through the slug here, and it's like the worst AI ever. That was actually really fucking good. But so now the game thinks that we did all these other things because it says, oh, well, go back to the geezer and talk to him. And so now we just did a major sequence break. But if you use the rock salt on the slug, you go back through with the princess, but the game doesn't know what to do because you're supposed to use the rock salt to enter Kojiro. And so you just go back into the forest and the game soft locks because you can't ever actually get this cutscene because the princess disappears. Okay, so here we got those Bencho fields when we were down in the restaurant basement. And the reason we did that is because we got Mercenary A, B, and C. Well, we got Mercenary A and B. We got Mercenary C to open Hell's Valley. And they tell you where the thieves' hideout is in the mysterious woods. So it's very akin to Link's Awakening when you go into the Windfish Egg, where it has a set pattern. And so these messages are very cryptic that the mercenaries give you, and you're supposed to try to figure out what the hell they mean. And I don't know how I did this as a kid because they make no sense, dude. Like, look at this. It says, meandering force, 4-way path, gold knight, 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 bishop. The fuck does that mean, dude? because the other two messages say nothing like that. They talk about east and west and right and left, and it's just like have to write it all down and try to figure out what's going on. But anyway, so now we have to remember that we need to go to the appraiser, because if we don't go to the appraiser, then we are completely and utterly fucked. Because we'll have to run back, and yeah. So, time to sleep again. So there's our 8 hours, good solid night rest. So I have 900 Dran here, which is like super fucking low. But luckily I can snag an easy like 3,500 inside the Ice Palace, just like with very little movement. The camera is also weird in this game. You use R2 and L2 to scroll around. And like every time I go, I try not to move the camera. Let's see. So if you do the glasses first, you get the L goggles, and he says like you can appraise items without me. So then you use it to get the L vest right away, and you don't have to ever talk to this old prick again. He actually is relieved that he doesn't have to help you anymore. So if you look on top of Musashi's head, he's actually wearing the L goggles too. Pretty nice little addition there. There's a lot of little stuff in this game that they put on sprites and shit that they really didn't need to, but they went with anyway, so it's pretty neat. We're gonna go back where we went and did the slug skip and go into the meandering forest. You'll see how much faster this thing charges. Like, it's way faster. So when you take damage on the Relic Keeper, it's way faster to charge like that, and you can do damage much more readily. So we have to get the hop from this guy again and use it as it was actually designed. So these brambles or thorns or whatever you want to call them right here, this is what hop is actually used for. So I've tried and tried and tried to skip those mercenaries, and so has my buddy Dubs D. I don't know if he's in the chat, but this sign will not appear unless you talk to those fuckers. So the pattern is always the same. It's left up up, right up up, right up up, left up 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 up. And the rock formations are the same. And if you go the wrong direction, then it makes this noise and you go back to the beginning. The music in here is really badass too. You can just walk through those, but I like to jump over them, so there's that. There is a couple little sequence breaks in here that allow you to clip through doors. On the Japanese version, you can clip through a door you can't in the American version. And it would really help out if you could clip through that. But we don't play on the Japanese version because any of the yellow text boxes that you've seen throughout the game that you get from opening treasure chests or getting an item or opening a Bencho field, you can't actually skip over those in the Japanese version, so they stay on the screen for a few seconds. So this is Ginger Ale. She is Bubbles' sister. Bubbles is an enemy that we skipped that was inside of the church with the Bambies. The way that this dungeon works, it's the Thieves' Hideout or the Ice Palace or whatever you want to call it, really. All these doors, you see this blue-eyed door right here. You have to go around and collect the eyes. You got a green eye, a red eye, and a blue eye. And you do it by doing separate little puzzles. And there's these rooms that allow you to get the eyes, and they each have a specific way that you have to complete the room. So in this room, we have to kill all the penguins. And if we can Alright, I fucked that up. So you try to group them together, and then use your flame to shoot them both at the same time. That's the way it should be done. Let's see if I can get these guys. So by throwing them, you actually... Okay. If you stand too close to them, and your flame shield that's around you touches them, your charge goes out much quicker, like that. So you want to try to keep some space so that you can just smoke them. And there's a couple more rooms in here that are the same way for the blue eye and the green eye. So like that yellow box right there, you can't skip over those in the Japanese version. You have to wait for the entire text to scroll out. Here's another little optimization that Esperis, it's like a simple route change that we didn't do before. Instead of going over that platform and then running back through that room with the penguins, it's just a little bit faster. This room takes you back out to the main hallway, which is where the red eye is located. This flower that's sitting right down here at the bottom of the screen, you can actually turn your back to this door. You see him kind of clipped into the sprite. If you block with your fusion sword and throw him straight up in the air, he'll push you into the loading zone of the door. It skips the text and gets you in the door without having to get the blue eye. The only problem with that is that you have to have all 3 eyes in order to progress. These clones are assholes, man. These guys mimic your moves. It's that little dude right there in the corner, and they follow you. It's really hard to get past them efficiently. This gorilla guy plays a part in a couple times. We're going to manipulate this guy to shoot, and then the gorilla throws us up on top of the ledge. These are designed to be mazes, but they're really not all that difficult. And then here's an easy 500 that I was talking about. It's not really like a big deviation. And I'm going to want to grab some money so that I can buy healing items for the final dungeon, just to try to be a little bit safer. This room is full of these clones, and there's a way that you can manipulate them so that they group up. And this is the first time we're going to see the counterattack that Musashi has. That's going to be used a lot later in the game. So basically you have like 6 frames after you block it to press triangle with Lumina, and he does this super powerful counterattack. And we basically use it in that room, and then we use it in Soda Fountain at the end of the game. The rule in that room, those little signs, you can read what like the rule for the room is that you can't take any damage. And casually, that room's a bitch, because you don't really know how to manipulate the clones. So there's an easy 1,000. The reason that we like money is so that we can sleep in the end, because it's a lot more efficient than actually having Musashi just sleep out in the wild, and it's just instantaneous. And like I said, I want healing items for the final dungeon. There is a couple in there in chests. There's like 5 of them that you can grab, but they're kind of out of the way. See these clones, dude? They're fucking assholes, man. Get off of me, dude. What is this? Hello? Okay. Hello. So here's more clones. Oh my god, dude. So that's what that guy does. Normally you can just hit these guys, and that's like the most efficient way to squeeze past them. So now we go back through and go, that we have the blue eye, we'll go through into the blue eye room. So basically you're just running back and forth. So the way you clip into this door in the Japanese version is this penguin that's getting ready to dive at me. You can take him and throw him in the air and take damage and do a jump through that door, kind of like we did on the triple jump, and it allows you to get into the loading zone, but you can't do it in the American version. I want to mess around with the Japanese version a little bit more, because I personally haven't done a lot of work on it, and so it's kind of like hearsay and word of mouth, which hearsay and word of mouth strats and speedrunning don't really get along. like the best way to figure anything out is just to test it yourself, because if someone says, nope, dude, can't do it, generally you probably can. You just gotta put more effort into it. So this right here is why we wanted those L goggles, because these icy slopes that are all around this level, you have to have the L shoes in order to walk up them. And if we didn't have the L goggles, we'd have to grab that and go all the way back to the village, get it appraised, and then come back here. The L goggles are optional as well. There's a couple items that are optional. You can save this woman in a Bincho field, and she'll knit you legendary cloth. And there's another item, the legendary gloves, I think you can get instead of that. But we don't get those in this route because we don't need them. Where the fuck are you going, dude? So when I was talking about money, I like this stock up. So there's just like 1,000 more right there. And I can grab it again on the way back, so that'll definitely make us way good on money. I like to hit all the clones in here, because then you get your Lumina leveled up, and it's a small amount of damage, but all the damage you have counts. So the reason I assimilated that clone on top there was because the caveat in this room is that you have to kill this guy with a clone. So basically the clone ability puts like a punching bag that looks like Musashi, and the gorillas go wild for it. And then you just press circle and blow them up. So now we've got the red eye, blue eye, and green eye, and that'll allow us to progress through the dungeon. This is, I think, the coolest boss in the game, just because the sprite work on it is pretty rad. I'm definitely grabbing more. I normally don't grab any extra money here. I don't like technically need it, but might as well. I'm stupid, dude. That was the wrong one.
RNG manipulation.
Yeah, dude. That was too. So I'm supposed to run to the other side of the room and actually use the green eye. Nice. You can assimilate ability from those guys. Dude, where am I going? You can use that guy shouldn't be there. If I would have went the correct path, then you get him stuck. But you assimilate an ability from those wolves, and it's basically a dive kick. And it makes you move faster, but it uses BP like really, really fast. Hello? Hello? The penguins are one of the only enemies you can't assimilate in the game. You can't actually shoot your fusion sword into them. This room should look familiar. So these are the slopes that you can't get up without the L shoes. You can get up here without them, but it's really hard. And we've been trying to figure out a way to clip into this door for a long fucking time, dude. Because if you could clip into this door, you wouldn't have to do any of this dungeon, and that would be really badass. And if you can get up here without the L shoes, then you can just jump over to them, because you'll need them later on. Because all this, if you don't have the L shoes, you just slide right down it. So this boss, the Frost Dragon, is also a very large boss. This is just an unskippable cutscene, just showing off the beautiful graphics that the PlayStation could achieve. So we come up and hit this gym and open the trap door. So there's a couple ways to manipulate the Frost Dragon. There is one way where he won't do this beam attack at all. And it's pretty precise, and you have to take damage, and honestly I'm out of practice with it, but it's a little bit faster on the second and third cycle. So like the other enemies, he has 3 cycles. You have to hit his exposed orb 3 times in order to kill him. This first section is just basically showing off how large he is, but he's pretty badass sprite. And it's important that we do damage here, so we can charge and we'll wait for him. We should come back this way. You don't do that much damage to him, but it's nice. So if he hits you at all, he does 36 damage and you turn into an ice block. So if we don't do damage to him there, he goes 3 cycles and it takes a little bit longer. Again, using more of the scroll here to just bypass these sections. You're supposed to melt them all the way, but if you melt them like that much, as long as they move, you can hop over them. And you can get 3 in a cycle if you don't suck. But I suck. I got it. So taking damage really isn't a big deal here. I've often considered just making them barely melt and then taking as much damage as possible. So this first cycle, if we want to get him just in 3 cycles, we need to make sure to manipulate him right here. Then we move and stand in the proper position. You can block 3 of his shots, take damage on the 4th, and then he'll dive at you again, but this is a lot easier and it's like 12 seconds faster if you do it the other way. But if you miss it, you miss a complete cycle. So I want to get up on him like that so that I don't have to wait for my weapon to charge, and that was really, really close. And he just does the exact same thing 3 times. The only difference is that his HP values fluctuate. That's like the really big damage dealer if you do the fight this way. But by standing over there, it just forces his head to wrap around. He can do it from either side, but I just prefer to have him do it from that side. Okay. So this boss is super free. Most of the bosses in this game are pretty damn easy. Some of the later bosses have really, really tight like cycle requirements if you want to get them in 1 cycle, and some of them are RNG. That was fucking awful, dude. I was a little bit too far back. See, so I forced him to... I'll try to do it again. Okay, hello? Anyway, that's how you can manipulate him to do that. 69 health, shut up. So I'm probably going to have him do another beam here, because I'm not going to be able to do enough damage to expose his core. Oh, or I lied. So that's Frost Dragon, and that's essentially the end of Chapter 4. $152, that's terrible. I remember, like, when I first started running this game, I was like, I will have a sub 2-hour Frost Dragon one day. And that's, like, so fucking bad, dude. There's just a little bit of story stuff here before you exit.
It's always fun to look back at what you used to think of your runs before you actually got good at them or found new routing things.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm still not good at this game at all, but... This game has potential to be much, much faster, man. And if I quit being lazy, I can do it. So basically, we just head back to the village, and Chapter 5 will progress. A lot of times in this game that happens, whatever you select for Musashi, like, well, go back to the village, and then the next scene is, well, go back to the village. Like, it's just him fucking saying what you already told him. So normally here in Chapter 5, what we would have to do, I guess for a little bit of backstory in Chapter 4, the mayor is gone and you become the mayor for the day. And so what happens here is the mayor comes back and he says, oh man, we need your help. The shops have lost their profits. And so it's up to you to go to the different stores in the town and see which of the shops, the bakery, the toy store, the general store, all these places actually lost their profits. and it turns out that it's the hotel. And so you go in there and you talk, and some woman that looked like Princess Filet came and stole all the money and went and locked herself in Steamwood, and the princess is refusing to come out, and now Steamwood is under pressure again. So you have to go and you have to get the profits back, and it turns out that it's Topo who is the head of Leader Force. And you definitely will know Topo's name by the end of this run. But, so you go there, it's a fake princess, you have to go through the exact same Steamwood sequence again. And you have to find handles for the valves, and it takes a really long time. Or you can not activate this crest in Chapter 3, and you can do it in Chapter 5 instead. And one of the sequence triggers for this crest is that Ben and Ed from Leader Force enter down here and talk about how Capricola wants them to get the church bell. And so the game thinks that you're back in Chapter 3 even though you're in Chapter 5. And what's good about that is there's this little cave entrance over here that normally in Chapter 5, until we do Steamwood and all these things, is blocked by an impenetrable gas wall. Well, in Chapter 3 that gas wall isn't there. And you don't have the fire crest unlocked, which is the frost dragon that I beat, like the crest guardian. Once you beat him, you're able to actuate this crest. Chapter 3, you haven't killed him yet, so you can't do it. But since we do it in Chapter 5, we have the ability to actuate this crest, and it breaks the sequence. And so we skip doing Steamwood again, we skip having to find out who stole all the profits, and yeah, it's like a 10-minute time save. And on top of that, you don't have to do fucking Steamwood again. Alright. You can actually clip out of bounds here using these bats, but it just puts you back at the beginning of the room, unfortunately. And you will never see this area again, so rip. This is the Wind Scroll. The Wind Scroll has a couple different properties. Its ability is that you basically turn around like a tornado, and you can go through strong gusts, and you can dig holes in the ground because you spin fast. So we won't ever come back here, and then the area that you drop in, you won't ever be back there either. And there's an unskippable Bencho field here, which actually works out well because we need the BP. I forgot to mention before, whenever you hit a Bencho field, your BP meter increases by 5. Or by 50, sorry. And you get HP by catching these Minkus, but we don't worry about them. So here's Bubbles and Ginger Ale. We talked to Ginger Ale in the Thieves' Hideout. But Bubbles, this is like a big piece of the story. You find out that her gun is actually what's trapping everybody in the palace in Bencho Fields. And so they argue now because she could have saved Capricola and Flatsky the trouble and trapped the hero, but instead they just run off. So this area is exclusive to that cutscene, and you can't actually go back there, like, anyway, because this is the exit from the Meandering Forest. There's a lot of lag. I tried to reduce that. If you jump straight vertically up, and that... I can't talk right now. If you jump vertically up after you assimilate an enemy, the fusion sword will come directly back to you, and you don't have to wait for it. And so I tried to do that there so I could reduce the lag that it was causing, but it's like literally half a second, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so now the game thinks that we rescued Steamwood and we got the profits back to the hotel and all these other things happened. And so now we come back and you'll notice a drastic music change in Grillin' Village. So by getting the wind scroll, it triggers this event, luckily, and we're able just to run up here and skip a big portion. This part of the game is really ridiculous, even more so than before. So this guy, come on, Mr. Lands, is the gondola operator, and there's this giant ant on top of the gondola, and he doesn't know what to do, so he asks the most qualified person, the 15-year-old Musashi from a different dimension. But of course, Musashi knows exactly what to do. And this also helps because the game thinks that you've unlocked the gondola, which was a sequence break that we did before. And so it assumes that you unlocked the gondola because you have this cutscene, so we don't have to actually grab the golden gondola wheel and do a bunch of other shit. I don't know how this ant survives this, but he's pretty awesome. You're about to get slimed. But yeah, apparently that was like, okay, whatever, just squeeze right past it. And he's just caught in a mosh, drops down into the mines. So this is an alternate entrance to the mine area. And it plays very similarly to the mines that we were in earlier. And again, it's the dungeon for Chapter 5, so it really plays on the scroll's abilities. There's a couple spots in here, including the boss, that you really have to use them a lot. And the second best song in the game is here, and it's like an auto-scroller, but it's pretty awesome. So there's the ant that's actually dead now. This is what the wind scroll is good for, is it allows us, that's poisonous gas, so it'll poison you otherwise. These are meant to be 3D, but if you just hold right, the camera just pans with you and you don't ever move anywhere, so it's kind of an interesting design. So this is why I switched to the earth scroll. You have to use it to bash these boulders out. All the spikes that are down in the pits, if you fall into the pit, those green spikes poison you as well. So it's like a big thing in this dungeon that it's trying to poison you. And if you get poisoned, it's a pain in the ass because it slows you way down. These guys are RNG, and that was pretty badass. Sometimes you have to slow down and wait for them. You can use the damage boosting jump to your advantage there, but sometimes it's not high enough. For as shitty as this game does platforming, they make you platform a lot. There's a kind of a trolley part coming up here for getting poisoned. This is another section where you just hold right and you grab all the coins that are in the path. Like I remember playing this casually and trying to bob and weave and get the coins, but it doesn't matter at all. So I jump over this guy and switch to my normal, and with the L vest I have enough time to charge. This part is hell casually too, because got the glitch, sweet. This particular spot here, hello dude. You have to run up to this, assimilate, and then do a double jump across. But all the green slime, whatever the fuck it is down at the bottom, poisons you as well. This is probably going to be the only Minku that you see in the entire run. Minku is that little animal down there. There's 13 Minku in the game that increase your HP by 50 every time, or 25 every time you grab one. And after you collect them all, you have to fight the mother Minku, and it's like this giant Minku. So if anybody's interested, I've been dying to do a mother Minku race. This is, you're supposed to go to the right here and go deeper into the mines, but you can just go back. These ants are a pain in the ass too. They do 25 damage whenever they hit you, and they halt any kind of jump that you have. These guys poison you, so you just skip right past them. The weird thing about being poisoned, when you're poisoned, enemies don't even acknowledge you. So you just like run right by them. They don't attack you or anything. They just like that guy would just stand there in the corner if I was poisoned. But in order to make any of these jumps, it'd be a pain in the ass because your speed is so much slower. Hello. Okay. And this is all. Oh fuck that! Nice save. That's all RNG too. You gotta wait for those guys. I'm sure that they're on a global timer and they probably have some kind of repeating pattern, but I don't know what it is if they do. So this just takes us back to a little bit into the dungeon where you saw those kind of trolleys or on chains. Hello, dude. You're supposed to like ride all the way down there, but you can just jump. This is one of the cooler parts of the run. It's not really like execution heavy or trolley or anything. It's just fun. If you say no, it looks like junk, he just turns around and stops on the platform. But this is like the second auto-scroller in the game, but we skipped the first one, the log ride, which is actually a really cool one too. But yeah, this tune is really fucking good. So basically you have 5 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. High right and left, mid right and left, and a center position. You can take 4 hits when you're in the minecart. This is really, really easy. The first time you do it, it's hard as fuck. But when you do it after that, it's all good. And oftentimes you don't even really have to move. Like I'll stay in this spot and I can cruise there for a little bit. Scoot over, just kind of hang out. When you play it casually, you're trying to hop around like, oh shit, there's 3 guys over here, but easy money. So these green flags, you'll see a couple more colored flags, and they're checkpoints. So if I were to die here, you don't game over, you just go back to the previous checkpoint, which is pretty generous. Really nothing going on, man. Pressing left and right. The boss coming up is the biggest boss we've seen yet. This boss can actually really do a lot of damage to you if you have poor execution, and it'll cost you a bit of time. There's a newer strat for this boss that I actually didn't use in my PB that saves a little bit of time also. And it's really like a very simplistic thing that we had kind of discussed about in the community. The community now is like pretty dead. It was really, really hopping for a while, and generically named Esbarus, Short Circuit, and myself were all doing runs like daily. Earlier in the year. I got my last PB on June 28th, and I really kind of moved on and played some different things, and I'd like to come back and improve it, but take some damage. It's cool as you take damage, your minecart actually kind of breaks apart. Dude. It's not a Musashi run without some pugs. This is supposed to be like really challenging because you have to go from right to left, but it's whatever. So this boss actually has the most tech out of any boss. I don't want to have a spoiler for it because it's a pretty badass boss, but one mechanic in this game that is kind of weird is if you're poisoned, then your critical hit rate increases. And so we're going to intentionally get poisoned here, and the critical hits just come flying in when you're poisoned for whatever reason. We'll get quite a few Lumina levels here as well. So here is the Queen Ant. She has a few attacks. Pretty trolly boss, really. She has spikes that come up out of her thorax. Okay, so we're gonna switch to normal here and charge. And she dips down and is supposed to swing her arm. And you jump over it, and then she puts her head down, and then you can attack her. But when she swings her arm, you can just... So I took poison damage there intentionally. Ow. So if I stand here in between these two, the spikes will always be on the right side and they just don't hit you. But the spikes do 26 damage anytime they hit you. Her cycles remain consistent. So after she shoots slime, then the spikes will come out. And then now... Oh, don't want to grab that. She does that little body bump, and then she grabs me with her little... Normally, that hits you, and she pulls you into her body, and it does a shit ton of damage. But if you just wiggle the analog stick like a monster, just ridiculous. Not like mashing, it's super easy, but you just have to like really fucking get after it. So you can see these crits are coming in, and all of her cycles are HP based. And so it definitely behooves us to have that. The only problem with these larvae is you see that they're dropping antidote, and I don't want to get those because then, like that, then I won't be poisoned anymore. And anytime I get poisoned from her little poison deal, it does, you can just do this too, it's not that tough. But that's a time save that I didn't have in my PB, and I don't know exactly how much time it saves over the course of the fight, but it's definitely faster. You can see how many crits are just like rolling in right now. So because that guy hit me, she didn't grab me, so that wasted a cycle.
So are you in any danger of like dying here?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually gonna heal. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, you can die here really easily. When she does that like thorax bump or whatever, if that throws you up in the air, you get stuck and you land on a spike and it does 26 damage. So, fuck, dude. Cool hitbox. So I jump here because it keeps these larvae off me, and like they do that little jump attack, but if you jump forward or backward and then back at them, then that doesn't matter. Yeah, but you do need to keep an eye on your health here. If you ever get to 26 health, you should heal. Because if you get stuck like on that attack, dude, it'll really fuck you over. So you can see as much as you have to move that analog stick, and I barely make it out. If I remember correctly, fucker, the cycles are 250, 650, and 925 for the HP that you have to actually do. So that was the last hit on the Ant Queen here, and we're basically going to the last part of the game now. So you can see it's day 11 and it's Thursday, and I mentioned earlier in the run that we wanted it to be Sky Day on day 12, and that's where we're actually going to be. That Lumina level is nice. So this is the final chapter of the game. What was that, at 213? I have no idea what my splits are, I don't remember. I think it's like a 206 or something though. This is another missable Bincho field in the game. This is the only time you ever come to this area. This is Lino, the dog, who normally would lead you through the meandering forest. And that's John, the treasure hunter. And we skipped actually saving them earlier in the run, but they're still a very relative part of the game. And John comes here and explains to you that you have all these scrolls, but there's a rumored sky scroll, and he explains to you like where it's at, and yeah. Hopefully I can get to the store right now because I have to buy a lot of healing items, and it should be open still. But what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna stock up on healing items, then we're gonna go sleep. Typical, right? So basically, I just need enough money to stay at the inn, and I don't care about money anymore. Shit, I guess I'll just stock up. I forgot I grabbed so much extra. Okay, so the thing with Sky Day is that in order to have it rain, it doesn't start raining until 6 in the morning. And so we don't want to be too past 6 in the morning. Let's see, what is that? That's like, I'm just going to do this to be safe. Because there's a couple things that we have to do. Dude, let's save. Just like, because. It shouldn't be a problem, like, at all, but we're here, so. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the forest that leads to Steamwood, and it's a very familiar part of the game, but there's a little hidden area, and when you casually play through the game, you'll probably be looking around and stumble into it and be pretty confused. Okay. So it's really, really unclear when you play through this game casually what the hell you're actually supposed to do to get into the area with the Sky Scroll. But once you get all the scrolls, you can come here, and this Earth Scroll gives you access to an area. And it's confusing because you get the Earth Scroll so early on, and you've probably explored in here and got the Bincho field and see this Earth Scroll crest, and you may either forget about it or have it do this and just be like, alright, cool. But there is a Minku up here that you can get. Hello. And this is how you get to the final dungeon. But like I said, it's only on Sky Day. Whoa, that jump is frame perfect. It's only on Sky Day, and I guess it's 7 o'clock, my bad. I totally could have slept more, but. So now it starts raining, and now you can use the wind scroll here. If it's not raining, you throw Lumina up and it comes back super tiny and just goes bang, and you can't actually use it. The one thing with coming to this area is that there's no turning back. It's that point, the classic Squaresoft formula of like, you enter the final dungeon and you can't do anything else. This part is actually really, really trolly. You can get everything here in essentially one cycle, but as this is spinning around, it actually affects the physics of your jump. So I have to hold left when I jump, or else it forces you right. It's like the wind is carrying you. We take damage here to go back to the last platform we were on so that we can grab this on the next cycle. I just do this so I don't have to take damage, even though I'll probably fall. It's unfortunate because just the way that you walk into this area, this first platform is beyond you and you can't really get to it, and I've tried to mess around with like running around and trying to catch up to it. I always do that just because it cancels the earth animation and you have to menu and switch anyway. Alright, so we just need the water scroll here so that we can get up on this platform. Then we switch to the fire. So this is the hard part. If we fall down here, it wastes a shit ton of time. We can get these blocks first try pretty easily. We should be able to. But these platforms are really broken too. So everywhere there's a seam, you see Musashi do a little bit of a stutter step. Oh, fuck off, game. So now it puts you back to the beginning. But every time you hit that, he does a little stutter step. And if you jump during that stutter, it eats your input and basically you fall off, like I just did. It sucks because now I gotta run all the way back around. So yeah, you have to... What the fuck, dude? Eating inputs like a motherfucker. This part can get super frustrating if you're running. One cycle's free as hell, but oh well. So you can see that, like, pause, dude. You, like, clip into the platform. Okay. So they just make... This is the stupidest area in the game because you literally come here to do this. You just came here to get the sky scroll. So, story-wise, now that you got the sky scroll, Capricola and the Leader Force bring Soda Fountain, which is like their ship, and come over and talk to you, and it's this big long cutscene. And Musashi jumps across like this little tow rope they have and infiltrates. That's like a 2 or 3 minute long cutscene. So this is when you get to see the Sky Scroll in action. So basically the Sky Scroll allows us to fly. It makes the Lumina Sword flap on your back like a fucking propeller. You'll see me trying to do some of these jumps in one cycle, and a lot of them are really tight. This one in particular is the tough one. Oh, sorry, wrong one. It's this one. Hello. Just because this is a tight room. Very nice. And then that saves us from having to go into the menu. That was actually really good. Okay. So there is a W gel in the chest here that you can get, and that other chest that I passed before is a sea drink. And those just give you full life, basically. W gels revive 150, and that's all we have anyway. And this area of the game is extremely hard with low health. So I'm going to be managing my health. That's going to be like the biggest thing that I'm going to be doing. This is designed so that you use the Sky Scroll to basically fly over all this shit, but it's faster, I found, if you hop and then use the Sky Scroll, because you don't have to worry about charging. And then if you just go straight through it like I did, you can basically run. If you fall into any of these pits that you see, though, it takes you all the way back to the very beginning, which is a huge pain in the ass. Alright, so we're coming up to one of the first kind of tough bosses. This is Ben. He was, Ben and Ed were the guys that came in after I activated the water crest. And he's like a big idiot, and he's always like, duh, who brought you here? You can hit him 4 times while he's in the air right there and get a 1 cycle, but they're super, super tight. These bombs do 92 damage if they ever hit you. So we manipulate him to go over there. Hello? I just fucked up. So we do counter hits to do a shit ton of damage to him here. He doesn't actually attack you unless you do damage to him. So you can kill him in that first cycle right there, but I've never actually done it in real time before. It's hard. There's a guy named VGHS who is on the SDA forums that found a lot of strats for this game back in the day, and he actually, wow, good fucks. He discovered the bin quick kill. Oh my god, dude, please. Oh fuck. Got him. We'll still call that 2 cycle. So basically after you kill him, he says that he's standing guard, but he salutes you for being able to defeat him. I'm going to save in between every boss fight here, just because if you die here, it's run over. This part of the game really trolled a lot of people playing it casually. It's set up so that it's basically like an elemental maze, and if you take the wrong path, it brings you back to the beginning. And there's one particular spot, nice menu, one particular spot where I just passed right above me there. I like pointed up like it was in the room actually. That was right above me that you have to use the wind scroll and you jump over it, and if you miss the jump then you drop all the way down. And I was talking to Dylan about it the other day. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why people do that. I've never done it before, and I was right here and then I did it. It was pretty awesome. You're going to be seeing me switch through the scrolls a lot here. They just set it up. It's pretty gimmicky for, you know, you have to solve puzzles using the Earth Scroll and all this other shit. There's a few really cool shortcuts in here that I'm going to go for. One involves a trick where you take a shit ton of damage if you mess it up, but it's like 85, so it should be okay. This is one of the first tricks where you basically fool the game. The idea is that as you go across this platform, you have to float above it with the sky scroll, but if you go on the right side and jump, it registers that you're actually floating there, and so the spikes stay retracted. This part can be really bad. If you fall down here, you go back to the beginning. So there's that. Okay, so here's the part where we can use this block and we can actually clip through it. It's pretty precise if you want to get it without falling. I didn't get it, but I got it anyway when I run. So basically, oops. What you do is you're pressed up against the wall. It's kind of like in Mario 64 when you use the elevator to clip you through the wall. It's like that, but the game can't clip you through the wall, and so it just pushes you onto the block. And if you don't do that, then you have to wait for an entire cycle on the other side of it. And so it goes up, it comes down, and then you have to wait for it to come back down again so you can jump on it. This next section is the wind scroll section I was talking about. You go here, and it brings you back to the beginning of the stage. I kind of claw the controller. I use my index finger for the triangle button, and my thumb for the X. Nice. Hello. Like I said, that's the very beginning of the game. Why did he jump right there? I hope that nothing happens. Okay. But that's the very beginning of this level, so if we could find a way to get to the top of that, we would skip all the way to here, like, immediately. And that would be a nice little time save. Okay, so now we're coming up to the second boss of Leader Force. And the thing about Leader Force, it's really funny. It's pretty aptly named because everybody that's in Leader Force thinks they're the leader of Leader Force. And so you kill Ben, who says, oh, I guess I'm not the leader. And then Ed's shtick is that he has a stutter. And he thinks he's the leader. But we're going to meet the real leader, and it's going to be super hype. This beam does 74 damage if it hits you. And this is actually the first boss that actually has like some real RNG. You can hit him 3 times with your fusion sword and do a charge attack. If you ever hit him with Lumina at all, he automatically ends his cycle. Okay, so the RNG is whether he appears at the bottom of the screen or the top. So he can appear in 4 spots on the screen, and we want him at the bottom. If he appears at the top, due to the position of the fire that he throws, we can only hit him once with the Lumina. If he appears at the bottom, we can hit him like that. So he throws these balls out. Nice. And this is super tight, but you have just enough time to move out of the way. And in an optimal fight, he'll appear at the bottom every time. Dude, I was getting God Ed RNG for like a month straight, and then I quit playing the game, and now it's punishing me for it. I've been trying to figure out a way to manipulate this fight, but standing down here is the best I got. Pretty technical shit. Critical hits also play a pretty pivotal role in this. If you can get a critical hit while you're actually doing a charged Lumina attack, it does quite a bit of damage. Which I literally have not got one yet. I should be able just to charge and kill him now. Of course. All of the bosses can't believe that you killed him. Okay, so this is, without a doubt, no comparison, the hardest part of the game. Like, when I first learned this game, or if you pick up this game to learn it, this part is by far the, just like, dude, no way. No way. But it's not because the area itself is that difficult, or it's hard to see where enemies are coming, but every single thing here kills you in 2 hits. And so you have to know how to manipulate the enemies. Oh, you dick. Oh, you dick. So that bomb guy can do a lot of different things, and he did something very bad. So I'm assimilating the grenade skill from him, which is the only reason we can speedrun this game, dude. This skill blows up all these doors, and I mean, we could speedrun the game without it, but holy shit, it would be slow. So I walk in front of those flame guys to manipulate them so that they shoot flames out so that they aren't by me at the door. The one thing that we need to be concerned with here is our BP usage. As we progress through the level, we're going to be killing some turrets that are indoors, and if we don't time the shots correctly, or we take damage while we're doing those shots, then we won't have enough BP, and then we have to kill it with Lumina, and it takes forever, and it's very dangerous. Grab this healing item for safety. You'll notice that now that we're in Soda Fountain, the in-game time and the day and everything is the exact same. Like, time stands still while you're in here. I'm running around in certain places so that these knights don't get me. If they hit you with their sword, it does 74 damage. They have a very interesting hitbox, or 80, hello? They have a very interesting hitbox that you can jump inside of it, and you just float on the hitbox, actually. And I've been trying to figure out a way to take damage and hop on top of those hedges, but that's like the dream, is to be able to skip the hedge maze. So yeah, these doors not only refill your BP, but they refill your health. So it's really important to, oh god, the lag. So if those guys fly over there and you hit them instead of the door, then you don't have enough BP to blow up the door, and you have to break it down with Lumina. So there's a couple factors that can really screw you over. I think it's possible, I've heard, I haven't seen it myself, that it's possible to blow up both doors in one throw of a grenade, but it's very pixel dependent, and I haven't ever verified that, so I don't know. So this part, normally, oh, nice throw, dude. Normally, I don't kill these guys, I just go for it. Wow, dude, please. But just so I don't die, because this part's very, very easy to die at. Those 2 trees on the other sides also spawn those guys, and they do 130 damage to you. Oh, why'd I throw 3? Dumbass. Okay, so I want to come into this next area with full BP. And this part is stupid difficult, and the BP consumption here is like the biggest thing. They stack up these doors with a bunch of enemies, causing lag, and we don't want to get hit by any of these guys, because like I said, they do a ton of damage. So we get that guy to throw, we hit that guy so that he walks, and then he'll shoot. And I have to space out my shots like that because I don't actually have enough BP to throw that many grenades. But if I space it out, the game will register the BP as the meter is going down. And these all have like health and BP in them. But yeah, it registers the BP. Oh shit. Hello? Why did those not disappear? But instead of registering the BP that you're supposed to have, it registers the BP that you currently have. So if you space out your grenades, then you can throw more than you're supposed to. And the lag is not an issue here, dude. That's like the worst lag I've ever fucking seen in this game, dude. Wait for the shot. So the turrets will shoot at you as well. Whoa, baby. The turrets generally don't shoot until after that guy on the left does. We're gonna kill this dude here. And we kill him just to get a full BP refill. And then that sword guy's a dick. This boss normally takes a little bit, but with grenade it's just whatever. Okay, so here we should have 100 BP, and this is kind of scary, but it's all good. Nice crit, dude. So you can manipulate this guy so that he doesn't hit you with his flame. And normally I used to throw grenades at these guys, but you can just move them like that and kill them. And then you don't have to worry about... Because what you had to do was hit them with your grenade and then try to grab the BP that they dropped. This door is pretty infamous for me. When you run into it, there's 2 enemies right here. And I was on like a huge PB pace one time. And that guy hit me and killed me and ended the run. I was like 20 minutes ahead of my PB at the time. Okay, so this is probably the best part of any video game ever. And I'm gonna let this cutscene play out because it's amazing.
I'm Leader Force's fashionable leader, Topo. Welcome to my rave party.
Who's the real leader anyways?
Who cares about that?
You're right! Who cares? Come on, let's duel!
What? I'm shocked that you'd even think of hitting a girl.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Huh. How about this? You try to keep
This
up
is the
with
best
my
line
dance.
ever, dude.
Dance or die.
How to dance with style. So this is the exact same every time. It's X circle triangle square, X circle triangle circle on the phases, and then like this one is whatever triangle or square triangle circle X. It's the same every time. Boom, bam, ba-dam, boom.
That pose.
So if you don't copy her movements, then she hits you back and you hit this electrical beam and you take damage, so you can't actually die here.
Not bad. Now, can you keep up with this?
It's like literally the exact same speed too. This ending, dude, is so fucking good. Like,
You're so good. I'm not surprised you're so good. You've been dancing to our tune all this time.
Like, this is like a big story reveal, too.
I was led here?
Leader's force was ordered to help you get the 5 scrolls. And thanks to you, we didn't have to battle with the Crest Guardians. It was up to us to give Colonel Capricola the complete Lumina. You were just a pawn.
Is that what all this was? Well, too bad for you. Lumina isn't complete yet. Not until I defeat the last Crest Guardian and liberate the Sky Scroll.
What if I told you it was here in Soda Fountain?
Who cares where it is? At least not until I liberate the Crest.
So just like, that's where we're at. All the enemies are working together against you, but this line right here, dude, is the best.
Oh no! My legs! That was my final rave. Farewell, dearest Capricola.
My legs! It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's so good. I think that I have 2 open slots here. Alright, so these are sea drinks. They're like the best healing items in the game. That was like a big time loss, but I don't care because that was worth it. Yeah, the Bible thumps are real when Topo and her poor legs. This is another unskippable cutscene, but it's a pretty awesome one.
Hey, that's... Princess!
Musashi!
Capricola, you loser! Where are you taking her?
So this is basically like a reskinned tower from the beginning of the game, and we just have to hop up it. And then we have 2 bosses left. This boss is completely RNG, so we'll see what happens. I should probably still be able to get sub 3. Okay, so the Sky Scroll activates itself here, and so you actually do this boss flying. Fun fact, during my practice I actually didn't fight the Tower of Death or the final boss, so I haven't fought either of these guys since like June 28th. Get hype.
Nice.
But it's cool, man. So the RNG that's involved with the Tower of Death is these little red dots that he has turn green, and that's how you do damage to him. So we just basically have to cruise around and try to see if we get lucky and find him. The problem with that is that, hello, that I'm bad. Dude, what? And, there we go. Hello? Hello? Okay. A lot of the phases that this has are really trolly. I just saw it. It's on the one below me here. One nice thing is the second phase he has, he only has the eyes on 2 rows, so I can stay where I'm at right now, and it's guaranteed to be on one above me or below me. Dude, this is... Like, I had one fight against this guy where, like, every panel that I was on was the one where the green eye spawned, dude. It was incredible. Okay, so that should put him into his second phase. Or not. I just saw it open on the top. Okay. So like I said, it'll be either on... Okay. It's either on the one above me or below me. That's the only nice thing about this phase, because if you had to cruise through this entire thing with these electric fences, it would be a huge pain in the ass. Nice. So that's like the good RNG, is that it's just appearing right in front of you. Some of the phases coming up are ridiculous. So this one, for example, these eyes deal more damage than I have health. So you gotta cruise around and try to find where these dudes are at. Oh, you fucker. But you can kind of stay just where I'm at, like on that shelf part or platform part, whatever. I like to try and stay a little bit in front of it, because then when the phase changes, you don't have to worry about, dude, this is like the worst luck. Holy shit. I mean, there's a lot of these things on this tower, so again, agreed, did he? One fun fact too is after you kill this dude, the last phase that you kill him on is these eyes shooting. And if you fall down, even though he's dead, and you lose control of Musashi and you fall into one of those, it can kill you. This is ridiculous. Apparently, I just needed to hang out at the bottom. They're like rarely ever on the bottom or the top either. Most of the time it's in the middle three. So now all his eyes close up, and he's about to enter the troll phase. If those phases weren't troll enough. Hello. Okay, so we're back to just the regular platforms out, eyes, nice. I think that it's after 1 it changes back. Maybe 2. Okay, so these eyes, dude, are the fucking worst. I want full health for this because you have to find where the eyes are not. Oh, baby. Get there. Okay. So if that hits you, it does 64 damage, but it also reverses your controls. So, super awesome. It only reverses left and right. It doesn't reverse, like, anything else. But still, dude. The problem with it, too, is, like, I hold right continually, or I hold left continually. And so, if you hold right and you get hit, and you are still holding right, and you run into another one, it's enough damage to kill you. Thank you. So you can see that this boss is like a huge troll, man. Like I said, I've had phases where, like where I'm at right now, the eye just opens up right in front of you. It's beautiful. Okay, so that could have killed me if I landed on one of those, but that was a decent fight. I mean, as far as RNG goes, at the beginning I wasn't paying too much attention, so I kept hitting the platforms. There's a very long cutscene coming up, and we mashed through it, but there is just like a murder during it. So it's pretty entertaining. I'm surprised, honestly, that they let him put it into the American version of the game. I haven't ever seen any other game with one like it. Okay, so just a little story. That's obviously the princess is kidnapped again. This is Fuhrer Flasky and Colonel Capricola. And so they are the Thirst Quencher Empire's top people. But dun dun dun, Capricola is actually John the treasure hunter, and he infiltrated the Thirst Quencher Empire for revenge. And then Rutrik's just like, nah dog, you dead. So, and then he just like lets out a fist pump like, I killed this fool. But he has a southern twang for some reason, and he goes, yeah, bullseye! So, Fuhrer Flasky basically tells Musashi, oh, here's your woman. But he trades the princess for the Lumina. And the reason he wants it is so that he can unlock the Sky Scroll's crest. And he wants it so that he can unleash the Dark Wizard. Or I'm sorry, he wants it for ultimate power. But little do they know that 1500 years ago, when Musashi was originally summoned in a different form, that he trapped the Dark Wizard inside of Lumina, and that's why it was stored on top of the Spiral Tower that we went and got in the first place. So this guy was stored inside of Lumina, and yeah, the Wizard of Darkness.
Those abs.
Oh yeah, dude, this guy raises his fucking donger. But, so Flatsky's all hype, but then he gets killed too. And so John, after being shot in the back of the head, is still just like talking, as I expected. And this poor guy, dude, he's just struggling on for dear life. That loincloth. He's like, Musashi, get out of here. And then just gets squished. But then, so after Lumina releases the Dark Wizard, Lumina which, you know, talked to Musashi before, and now he's ninja fapping. He goes, huh, wait for me. And he goes, huh? Lumina came back, like just all casually. Oh, Lumina's back, sweet. Like they don't really explain it. So this portion of the game is just like platforming straight up. And it's just, you can die here, but you restart at the beginning of this section. And not this particular section, but there's a little bit more platforming coming up, and the lag is real. One of the main differences between playing this game on emulator and playing it on console is that the tower climb that we're going to do is basically lagless. And I don't know exactly what kind of time save it is, but it's definitely a difference. The only runner that currently plays that's on emulator is S-Barris. And the community's small enough, and S-Barris is a really good dude, so it's not like we tell him not to run or that he can't compete for categories or whatever. Somehow Kojiro got up here, like after you killed him.
Princess, watch out!
What? And so now he just absorbs Kojiro and takes his power, and the princess gets swatted away again. So this is where you guys need to be ready to raise your dongers, because this fool, he goes through this transformation, and the PlayStation does transformations beautifully. I don't know why they chose to, like, so he does his legs, dude, but then they just do like a zoom in, like, my dong. Like, just like that one particular section. Like, what the fuck, man? And so after absorbing Kojiro, he becomes this lizard.
Lizard balls.
And so here comes his head. Just shaking it out. And he's like, get ready to duel. And so, of course, Musashi's like, hold on, I gotta find the princess.
Do it!
And it just so happens that there's more platforming. And this tower just has all these really little, really annoying platforms to jump across. And if you fall off any of these, you die. And when he slides down, it's fucking lag city, dude. And then you see it just clear right up. So you're combating lag for your inputs, and you'll hear me have to actually like change how I do my inputs. Because normally you can just do a double jump right here and it's not a big deal. That lagged me out so bad, dude, I couldn't even move. But you can delay your double jumps so that as you're going across these platforms, when he lags out, you can just do a full jump and then wait to do the double jump to make sure that you get across. It's a little bit slower, but it's fine. Okay, so now Princess is like just chilling up here. She's been getting just obliterated, and she's, oh, Musashi, yeah, just close it out, okay? Just no big deal. Just end this. Okay, so this is Dark Lumina. This is Phase 2 in Final Form, and people think the Final Form looks like Mewtwo for whatever reason. I guess I can see it, but there's a couple ways to do this fight, and the first fight is pretty free, so if I get grabbed, I'm bad. But you can manipulate the fight really easily, and Holy Angel did a lot of RTA work on this. Then the second phase, the final form, you can do really, really quickly, but hopefully I remember how to do it. So if we just double jump and then run away, we interrupt any attack that he has. That is the good attack. That's what we want. That's fast. So then we just wait for him and start again. And this is the entire fight on the first phase, like literally. So hopefully he'll spit breath. This is the slow phase here. And we do 640 damage no matter what to him. It's not like we can do a spin attack and it does more damage. That's just the amount of damage that he takes. I almost didn't hit him right there, and he would have grabbed me and I would have been bad. So normally another weird thing in this game is if you jump and swing Lumina, it does more damage than if you're standing on the ground, but that doesn't work on this boss. Dude, what a dick. So you can see him lifting his arm, and that's pretty much all he does, is he grabs you and then he throws you, and you go off the screen, actually. And you fall off and take damage. Okay, I do not remember how to do this shit at all, dude. So we have to go through the first phase here, and basically the final form of Lumina has like 7 different attacks that it can do, because it takes all the elementals from the scrolls that you've collected, and it has the ability to use them. We can kill them in 2 cycles, but there's some very precise assimilation throws that you have to do in order to make it happen. So we'll see if I can do it. If not, it's not that big of a deal. It is like a 2 or 3 minute time save. So, all right. So he automatically throws these flames. Like, you can't do anything about this cycle, and they're random, and you just gotta kind of try to dodge them. That's not bad. Okay, so you can see that he's a little bit off center here, and that's what we want. Because then when he comes to my position, he doesn't come directly at me. He comes like, oh dude, holy fuck, I got it. So that's a really precise, actually. Now I just need to make sure I don't fall off the edge. But I should be able to get him a 3rd time here. Oh, that's bad. That's fucking horrible. Okay. This phase, I should be able to get him. Okay. So now I can just space it out, and he'll come directly at me after that phase. Yeah, get ready on time. Oh, fuck, I missed, dude. That's alright. That's alright. I mean, that's how you do that shit. But if I would have stood back from the center a little further, I would have been able to have him get pulled further across the screen. And, hello. Oh, fucking Christ, dude. So this attack is bullshit. You have to try to dodge these, and it's fucking horrible. I'm just gonna heal for safety. For whatever reason, dude, he assimilates way harder than anybody else. I think that I can pull him here. Let me see. Alright, nice. Should be on final hit here. Alright, time.
256.31.
Nice. So, sub 3 is a pretty decent time. The world record used to be 3 hours and 12 minutes by short circuit. And that time's been improved quite a bit. The current record is my PB. It's 2:43:46. So
You did it!
we've improved the time by 30 minutes. Unfortunately, it got rejected from AGDQ, but I had more fun running it here than I would have there probably anyway. So, no big deal. I do kind of want to watch the ending part of this because the cutscenes are a little ridiculous in this game, if you guys didn't know. But, yeah, basically what happens now is the reason all this went down is because, well, they explain a little bit over here, so I'll just let you check it out. This game is really good, though. It's a really, really fun casual play, and you can put like 40 plus hours into it. And it's like $40 if you get just the discs, and it's definitely worth a playthrough.
Is this game good?
It's awful.
Mom!
Okay.
Dad! It's all your fault! It's all because you went on vacation and, left me all alone!
There, my child, you're correct. It is all my fault. I'm awfully sorry.
Look at this giant fucking hole in the castle, dude. Like,
From now on, we will tell you before we take a vacation.
I think you use some of these voice
As long as you're sorry. Huh?
yeah.
No, that's not what I mean.
Don't get so upset, my child.
By the way, who is that little person over there?
Oh, him? He saved my life.
Saved your life?
You don't mean that something happened while we were away?
Nothing happened, right, Ripson?
Yes, other than the princess's party, it doth be very peaceful every day.
Every day.
Princess, I'm gonna go return this. Back in a flash.
All right, Musashi, be careful.
That's Lumina, the sword of luminescence.
Oh, gracious
This line
me.
is so good, dude.
And the name Musashi. You cannot be.
I'm the legendary brave fencer Musashi. How's it going, old man?
So good. There's like a farewell screen on there. If you want to just click on that, it's just like full webcam or whatever.
No bonus stream. 5 hours of Red
Where's Waldo on hard? A race to first completion. No, man, I guess that wraps up DeuceCon 2015. It was gone faster than it came. Yeah, man, had a really good last 4 days. Really appreciate all the support from within the community. Your guys' tweets and hosts and donations that people were sending out have definitely not gone unnoticed. We just wanted the focus to be mainly on the speedruns and the runners this weekend. I wanted to give a big thanks to everybody that took the time to come out. I know it's not easy to take time out of your schedule, take time off work, not attend another event so you can come and hang out, but had a really, really good time with everybody this year, and a lot of really good speedruns went down, met a lot of cool people, so really glad we had the opportunity to do that. I'd like to thank Lithowid, who he might be in my chat, but he made all of the layouts, he made all of the overlay screens, he made the emotes for DeuceCon, the hype emote and the GG/CC emote, and he's just been a big supporter of my stream, like literally since day one, so big thanks to Lith. Thanks to DJ Cutman, who just like let us use all of his music and was like, yeah, dude, just get on SoundCloud, buy it if you want to, if you don't, like, cool event, go for it, so that was really nice. A huge special thanks to Nerm, because he put in way more time than I asked him to, or wanted him to, or needed him to, but he really, really helped ease things for me on the stream side, buying food, helping give people rides to the airport, just really, like, made the event way smoother. And Crack also has been running people back and forth to the airport so we can like kind of stay and man the stream. So just big thanks to everybody, man. And I don't really know what the future holds, I guess, for the event. Just kind of take a break and reflect on this one and put some VODs up on YouTube and just kind of go from there and see what happens. But if you guys are interested in, you know, attending a DeuceCon, or you have any comments, you have any feedback, whether it's, you know, critique or praise or whatever it happens to be, please send me a message. Let me know what you think we could improve, what you thought we did well, and we'll work towards trying to make a better event just for speedrunning on the whole. So I don't really have much else to say. I had a lot of fun the last couple days. I guess we're gonna have one last party percent tonight to kind of throw things out, but congrats to Deln for having this year's world record in Crystal's ponytail. So big shout outs to him. But yeah, man, I just had a really good time. So just thanks to everybody that tuned in, and like I said, man, all the support does not go unnoticed. You know, I mean, it's really cool to see the community just even like the event at all. That really means a lot to me, so I appreciate it.
And man, thanks to this guy, he's been setting this shit up for like 8-10 months, you know, like I think about like a month after the last DeuceCon, he's like, hey man, got some ideas for DeuceCon 2015, and it's like November, and I'm like, what? So he's been working on this event for a long time, man. I believe it was a very successful event. It's especially comparing this year to last year.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a lot of improvements just overall. Obviously we had a lot of people, you know, kind of bail out at the last minute, but it was still a super fun event. And so shout out to this guy.
Thanks, dudes. Oh yeah, also big shout out to Miss Deuce,
Yeah, no kidding.
Because yeah, she like doesn't play video games, and she bakes stuff for us and put up with like 15 people just partying their asses off every night.
Till 6 in the morning.
Yeah, super awesome.
We're sorry.
To her. So, but yeah, man, thanks so much. Please make sure to give me some critique on. I just want to try to make the event better, make it, you know, just a lot better for the community, a lot better for the attendees, whatever, man. Just anything that you have, let me know, and we'll see how things play out. But if you didn't follow any of the runners, what's wrong with you, man? Follow these guys, really good group of speedrunners, and just going to keep pushing their games and pushing speedrunning. So that's all I got. I guess it's time to have a couple beers and reflect. But yeah.
Remember, don't let your memes be dreams.
Just give up. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Really appreciate it.